It's a broadcast of Ebony Star Network, sponsored by the E Nation. We're going to be learning about ourselves again today. We have another episode of the Cesspool of Black Degradation, known as the RBR Network. Now, it's going to be a little different today. We're going to just observe how our behavior is allowed to deteriorate with no correction in sight. And we seem to be going backwards as people. And we've gotten to the point now to where we can't tell if we should be aligning ourselves with people who hate us or people who are for us. And clearly right now, we have made the decision to support people who are against us. And I'll point this out when we get the show started. This is Gangsta Talk coming up right now. All right, Dan, drop it.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. You know, shoot the game, going for mine.
Alright.
And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the reel.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke's cooking, beans copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flip to stay alive, peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, the 4.5, Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me, bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They'd rather see him spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off, using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off, hitting up spots, heating up blocks, investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. Yeah, get you up, I get down for mine. Get down for this, get it on the hands in the air. I get down for mine. Get down for hands on the regular shit. No fear. I get down for mine. Get down for this, get it on the hands in the air. I get down for mine. Get down for this, on the regular shit. I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't some place you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. Witness a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze, overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. My karma's a booty smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you're nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical, lyrics are sticking the brains like barnacles. Never sleep, I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine. I get down for dance. And you wanna put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for dance. On the regular, shake the fingers, no fear. I get down for mine. I get down for dance. And you wanna put your hands in the air. I get down for mine. I get down for dance. On the regular, shake the fingers, no fear. I get down for mine. I get down for mine. I get down for mine.
All right. What's going on, everybody? It is the broadcast of the Ebony Star Network. This is Gangsta Talk. Shout out to everybody in the chat showing up. We are powered by the E Nation. I am the Black Knight. By my side, as always, the Lady Knight, Miss Dame Frankie. Here we go again. And I like to give RBR a shout out for giving us these valuable teaching moments so we can see just how degenerate we are and how worse we are becoming every day. Again, this is one of the worst black channels on social media, period, and one of the most dangerous. And the sad part about it is black people seem to be addicted to this cesspool, and they want to support this cesspool. They want to swim in this cesspool. They want the odor of this cesspool all over their bodies psychologically. They want to smell bad mentally and emotionally and physically. And they try to convince themselves by thinking that this is a positive place to be. When the owner of this channel was an absolute scumbag and is anti-black, and spew nothing but anti-black verbiage all over the place. People chime in and say things and say crazy things like, this is a good channel because of the infections of the cesspool, the infections of the degradation. It seems like black people have become okay with being degraded. They've become okay with being in last place. They become okay with suffering all the time. And the sad part about it is there's nothing positive that comes from this channel about black people. And then again, you will have the insert of the racist white people who only add to the degradation. And you have black people over there trying to make sense of it. And this is the problem with us. This is what we have to take a look at. This is a good channel to where we can take a look at ourselves and see how we look to the rest of the world. Okay? And we're going to get on into it. So, Dame, get and fire up your FBI. And let's not waste time to get on into it. I don't want to be here all night.
All righty. All right. Let's cover our bases with the Fair Use Act. This channel may contain content not authorized for use by its owner. However, according to Section 107 of the Copyright Act of the United States, the fair use of copyrighted work for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research is not an infringement of copyright.
All right. Now, before we get started, let me just say, go ahead and cue it up, Dan. Before we get started, I noticed something after watching this channel for a couple of days. There's some black people, they just don't want to do better, that are just comfortable in sitting in a mosh pit and stewing in our own sauces. And as long as we can find someone who's stewing in the same sauce, we are fully, we believe that there's no reason to get out of it. There's no reason to ridicule the area for what it is. Like, people who have gone to this channel have become infected, don't believe that there's a reason not to go to it, because there are other people there who are suffering the same infection. So that makes it okay. It's really a psychological trip what's going on in this channel. And the fact that it has some kind of stability, because black people need to go there to degrade themselves. Now, we have all kinds of people in this world, right? But we do have people who want to degrade themselves. And this channel provides that necessary thing that they need to constantly degrade themselves. Some black people aren't happy unless they are tearing themselves down and they are grouped with other people who are in the process of doing the same thing. I've learned a lot by watching this channel. I've learned a lot about us. I've learned about different types of black people just by watching this channel. There are black people on this channel who just don't understand anything but hatred, drama, fighting, and they're so quick to disrespect and so quick to react to disrespect, being disrespected. They have no interest in anything positive. This is why they don't go to positive channels. And then what I find interesting, they go to a channel like this, and then they cry out for help. They say, I wish I wasn't at a channel like this. But what are you going there for? You know it's a cesspool. And so when you go to the cesspool and things happen the way they do, and you get treated the way you do, and then you turn around and say, I can't believe it. You know, when I come here, I actually heard people on this channel say, and you're going to hear it too, that they actually come there, and every time they come there, they get disrespected, but yet they keep coming back to get disrespected. Very, very interesting black people. I don't know what kind of mental illness it is, but it's definitely a mental illness. All right, so let's get right on to it. Okay, Dane, fire it up. We'll talk as we'll critique as we go along. And it doesn't take long for things on this channel to deteriorate because remember, it's a cesspool of degradation, a very, very highly infectious environment. Play it, Dan.
Into it,
I even
it was
put like
his
20 on
first
your
round.
cash app, please.
It was his first. We know that's a lie.
I swear to God, I will. I promise you. As soon as we done, I'll hit you up.
All right. So he said what Taz argued, which I felt was crazy, was that his argument, Salvo, from
so what they're talking about, it was the big time debate that went down between Taz Exclusives and Jabari on Saturday's channel. Many people believe that Jabari won the battle. I do too, even though I felt Taz was game. But you know, Jabari's tough, and that whole thing over there, that's all they do is debate. I used to be in the conscious community. That's where I was before I came here. And all those guys do is debate, you know. They're heavily into their scholarship. That's all they do all day long, 24/7 is read, study. And one of the reasons why they're so tough to be in debates because many of them have scholarly positions in life. You know, they're either teachers, they're professors, they're scientists, they're doctors, okay, they're lecturers. And you know, it's truly the big boy and big girl league. So if you go over there talking about you want to debate somebody, you really need to have your act together intellectually because they're not playing over there. Okay. Now I'm not going to say not going to look down on Taz for you know giving it his best. You know, you win some, you lose some. But again, Jabari is a tough customer. All those guys over there are tough, pretty much. Okay, so. Now, what they're talking about here is quickly going to deteriorate because, again, we have narcissists among narcissists among narcissists on this channel. This is where a lot of narcissists meet up, and then, you know, the infection starts to ensue. Play it.
The night before last, he didn't know where his father's lineage led to. His father. Now, keep in mind, we can look at him
go fast forward just a little
his
bit.
Father's legacy didn't come from China.
Just go fast forward just a little bit. Let's just get past RBR. Now, pretty much the same thing that happened yesterday happened today, but check this out. It was actually even worse today than it was yesterday. You'll see. Play it, Dan.
That's very possible. So the indigenous, just give me something on the indigenous people that were here at that time and where their original origin
Indians
was.
were enslaved too.
Okay. Well, where did they come from? Arthur, where did they come from?
Already when they got here.
No, see that you can't say that.
Hold on, bro. Hey, bro, hold on, bro. You got it. Oh man, they gonna fuck this up. They gonna fuck this up. Bro, we're talking about a specific thing that happened yesterday. We ain't getting into indigenous.
Okay, now stop.
RBR, obviously, they're.
Now, what you're witnessing that's happening right now, right? You have different minds over there who want to say what's in their minds, okay? All of them believe that they have the correct thing to say and they want to be heard. But the problem is that they don't respect that of each other. This is why arguments are going to ensue. This is why there's going to be the over talking of each other. You have one guy who's an absolute lunatic, which is RBR. He believes that his way is the only way. He can't accept an argument from anyone else, although he keeps telling you that no one wants to accept an argument from him. So he pretty much projects on everybody what he's actually doing to them. And you have another person who's an intellectual, who's a graduate, right? He wants to be heard. He believes he's smarter than other people. Then you have other people who believe they're smart. So basically, you have a whole bunch of people on this channel who think that they're very smart people, and they're clashing. And they're clashing so viciously that, you know, it deteriorates into a really bad confrontation. Play it.
The Mongoloids that traveled and you know did what they did and came across the you know what I mean the Bering Straits and came down and you know populated this area. Obviously, indigenous people.
Yes. So my point is, in tracing his lineage back, and I'm trying to be fair to him too, because he's doing a Queen Maya. He's saying we don't want to belong to the black race because the black race is fucked up. We want to be biracial. We want to be our own separate race. So Taz is saying we want to be black Americans. We ain't fucking with no Africans. We ain't black. I mean, we ain't Jamaican. We ain't African. The white people hate Africans. So we want to be another group that the white people won't hate as much.
Right.
We want to be biracial.
Group. Right.
He was going to ask Queen Maya if it was okay if Taz becomes biracial.
You want to be Jamaican like
Let me quarterback this real quick. You know.
Now, if you notice that RBR is always taking shots at black people, you have to really listen to him, right? He's always taking shots at black people. He's always making, you know, undertones that have to deal with him being a sellout. He'll constantly say things against black people. Like when you bring up a black person that's doing something, he'll make some kind of racist joke. Okay, if you really pay attention. He's one of the most anti-black people on social media. As far as he's concerned, black excellence is a joke. He's considered black excellence as being a sellout. This is why he's so fixated on Obama and Biden and all of these, and Hillary Clinton, even though Hillary Clinton got the Margaret Sanger Award. Again, this is also a man that believes Margaret Sanger is a black hero. Enough said, right? Now, it's about to really light up here because you have another narcissist who's also mentally unbalanced getting ready into the fray and try to state her piece, and she won't be allowed to. And now the infection is starting to make its way around the cesspool. And now you're going to hear the results of who has been infected. Play it.
You know what I see wrong with this argument Taz made was that he wanted to associate himself with Native Americans and try to avoid the fact that Native Americans during the Trail of Tears enslaved black people.
It wasn't through the Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears happened way after.
No, it happened during the Trail of Tears too.
The Trail of Tears.
Blacks hid amongst them.
Listen,
and the
come on,
Indians
baby. Come on, don't do this. The Trail of Tears is Andrew Jackson making the Seminole and the lower tribes of Georgia, South Georgia, North Florida, Southern Alabama.
Whatever. I know the history.
Leave their places.
They snitched on the black Americans.
Oh my God. This is what I'm saying. This
Either
is why,
way,
I was in such awe of what they did over there yesterday because it had never happened over here.
He wanted to blame the African. He didn't want to blame the Native American
people.
What's terrible about the fucking truth? They don't want to lie to the fucking people.
That's not what happened.
That is what happened.
The Trail of Tears is Andrew Jackson's actions towards the indigenous people of northern Florida, South
Yeah, but
Georgia,
didn't the natives
and South
give up
Alabama.
the black folks?
No, the Trail of Tears had nothing to do with black folks. It was him making
Yes, it
those
did. The black
natives
folks
leave those areas.
hid
Listen,
amongst
baby, you
them.
gotta listen to me. Instead
Okay,
of cutting me off,
let's.
hear me out. Let me teach you a
Okay,
little something.
go ahead. I'm gonna Google it
Let
though.
me
Go
teach you a
ahead.
little something. The
You don't
Trail
have
of
to teach
Tears
me.
is
I already
Andrew
know.
Jackson's action towards the indigenous people that he signed treaties with to say that he wasn't gonna fuck with them. But he lied and he turned on them. That's why the city of Jacksonville is in northern Florida. That's why it happened.
Okay,
So what he did was he made a march to what we now know as Oklahoma, Kansas, and that's why you have such a large population.
You ready for the goalpost move?
Please kick her off the
Hold
panel
up,
so we
hold
can
up.
enjoy the
Don't
show.
start this shit, nigga. Let
We
me
can't
read
enjoy
this.
the show because of you.
Fuck you. We're having a conversation.
We're
See
not,
what I mean?
You're trying to
See what I mean?
filibuster on some
Fuck
shit
out
that's
of here.
false.
Let me read the source. Okay? You said Trail of
get the
Tears had
facts?
nothing to do with Black Americans. Let's get into it. It says, my source is fucked up.
That's
You-
your
Hold up. Hold up. Wait a
RBR,
minute.
please mute her, man.
Could you
Please,
just stop for a
can you
fucking
please
minute?
mute her, RBR. Please,
No,
man,
you're
so we
not.
can have this
No, you're
conversation.
not.
Please.
No, I'm gonna read the fucking
Please,
source.
can you please
Please.
mute it so we can have this
No,
conversation?
Okay,
we're having a
stop.
fucking
We're
conversation.
not. We're just
Understand what you're listening to. The infection is now making its way around the panel, and now you have an unhealthy environment. Now understand something. Black people, we suffer from a lot of different ailments, mostly high blood pressure, diabetes, things of that nature. And so when you suffer from high blood pressure, an environment like this is not an environment that is healthy for you to be in, where voices are always raised, blood is running high, the temperature is high. You understand? This is not a place for you to be. And so this kind of environment is not only psychologically unhealthy for Black people, but it's also physically unhealthy. But the Black people here don't notice or understand these types of dangers that they're putting themselves in because they are infected. They are infected with the demonic energy of this cesspool of degradation that we call the RBR network. They are infected. And so they have no rhyme or reason anymore about even their own health. Play it.
I never fucking get to speak over here. Just
Trail of Tears.
hold
The
for a
Indiana
minute.
Removal Act. Facts and significance. The
Hold
Trail
for a
of
fucking
Tears
minute,
is
dude.
over 5,000. Listen. You want to know? The Trail of Tears is at the beginning of 1830s. Near 100,000 Native Americans lived on 1 million acres of land in Georgia,
okay, you know
Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, and Florida land the ancestors had occupied and cultivated.
Now understand what's taking place, right? You have a situation becoming volatile simply because a person wants to be heard, a person wants to be right. They all have the same agenda. They all believe that they're right. And so they cannot compromise because of the infection. The infection blocks them from compromising. The infection, what it does is it keeps them in opposition of one or the other. And so they can't compromise. They won't compromise. It's all about what their stance is, and they don't give a damn what they have to do to get it through. If someone was to start to croak on the panel right now, they wouldn't give a damn. It'd just be like, okay, hurry up and die, move out the way so I can make my point. That's the infection of what's going on. And this is what we look like. Understand, I'm not doing this for slander. I'm doing this to teach you what we look like and what we sound like to the rest of the world. And how low we are degrading ourselves. And how so-called Black people who are gathering us in spaces like that one, allowing us to do so because they're being paid by their white counterparts to display this kind of degradation, tomfoolery, and Black dysfunction. Play it.
for generations. By the end of the decade, very few natives remained anywhere
Okay,
in the
hold
Southeastern
on.
United
Let me
States,
just
working
stop.
on behalf of white settlers who
You
wanted to grow
said-
cotton on the Indian lands. The federal government forced them to leave their homelands and walk hundreds of miles specifically designated to Indian territory across the Mississippi. The difficult and sometimes deadly journey is known as the Trail of Tears.
I know. Yes.
What the
Okay,
fuck?
hold up.
Yeah,
Hold up. Let me
What
read
the
something
fuck?
to you. Hold it. God. Now, African American
Shut the fuck up. We don't
history.
want to hear what you have to say.
Yes,
Why are you
do.
yelling?
African American history is often told, includes two monumental migration
please,
stories.
man,
The forced exodus of Africans into the Americas.
We get past this, man.
It's coming
Please,
out.
RBR, please, man.
Come on,
Gonna
Queen.
talk.
All right, but come on, Queen. You got to be
Please.
faster than that. It can't be
Please,
the whole
it's fucking
show.
wrong. RBR, it doesn't have anything to do
Let
with
me
the fuck
make
we're
it
talking
fucking
about.
fast.
We just need her attention, man. Let her get it
I
out.
will make it
No,
fucking
man, no, that's
fast.
the problem. Y'all give these motherfucking people too much fucking
You
rope.
can't read a whole
You
book.
said-
So we can
You
ignore
fucking hear from me.
But make a point.
Hold up.
Make a point.
Just
Yeah, but
fucking quick
Queen
interest.
can't
Don't know what the
enough
Trail of
about
Tears
Motherfucker,
is.
I know.
Now
She
let
just
me
wanna bring
fucking
it down,
talk.
man. Just let it be down real quick. Go ahead, Queen. Finish up.
Fucking damn. You won't allow me to fucking talk.
Just finish up, Queen. Go ahead.
Hurry up.
Fucking shut up already, and I will.
Man, this is
Good
dumb.
God.
I'm not gonna let
Everybody,
you
Queen.
fucking talk. No,
I'm gonna
fuck
prove
no.
that the
Now
African.
stop.
Come on, Queen. You is bullshit.
Now, then get him off the screen real quick. We don't want to put nobody's portrait up there. Dang. Okay. And so now you have a situation to where there can be no compromise. It is now full blown. Everybody on the panel are infected now. So going forward, there can be nothing positive. It's only going to get worse. And again, this kind of dysfunction is being displayed to the rest of the world. Other people are watching this now. Everybody thinks this is funny, but it isn't. Because when other people watch this, it tells them how they should deal with us. You see, we suffer from this kind of behavior because we're in a bad position as Black people. We're in a position to where we have to depend on everybody else to survive. So that means we have to go to other people for goods and services. And when they see things like this, they make up a determination of who we are in their mind. Okay? It's unfair, but that is the way it is with us because we don't have any power. And so when we display this kind of behavior, it affects the way people treat us. And so we have this I don't give a damn type of behavior. I don't want to improve myself behavior. I want to sit up here and be just as degenerate as humanly possible. And you got a scumbag who's the ringleader, who's getting paid by the dominant society to allow this to continue, to allow this to be displayed. You notice he doesn't really jump in and do anything except to keep the experiment going, because that's what he's instructed to do. Now, at some point, JB Gunn is going to come on the panel, and we're going to see something very interesting, because he came up to address a Black man on the panel who is Cab 504, who is really a two-faced Negro. Okay? Play it, Dave.
Fucking get to speak over here. Just
Trail of Tears,
you
the
hold
Indian
for a minute.
Removal Act, facts and significance. The
Hold
Trail
for a
of
fucking
Tears
minute,
is
dude.
over 5,000. Listen, you want to know? The Trail of Tears is at the beginning of 1830s, near 100 to 1,000 Native Americans lived on 1 million acres of land in Georgia,
Okay, you know
Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, and Florida land the ancestors had occupied and cultivated for generations.
Now, let me point something out to you, right? All of them have information. They claim that their information is right. They claim to be the smartest of them all. But yet they use that information to tear down each other. You ever see anybody beat the shit out of each other with information? Where they do that at? just beat the holy hell out of each other with information. And information is supposed to be educational. It's supposed to be positive. We are supposed to learn something from it, but yet what we're learning is that when we have information, that is what we use to try to psychologically attack another black person, which is what's going on right here. This is what I mean by the infection of this kind of environment. Once you are infected with the demonic energy of this environment, your brain starts to malfunction. They are now malfunctioning. They are psychologically malfunctioning right now. They are beating the shit out of each other with information. They're trying to insult the shit out of each other with information. They're trying to hurt each other with information. Something that is supposed to be positive, something that we're supposed to learn from. But what are we learning? We're learning how to use the information to hurt each other. So if you want to go look up something about Marcus Garvey, when you're in a channel like this, you go look up that information from Marcus Garvey to use as a weapon to come back to that kind of environment to hurt someone with it. That is part of the infection of the demonic energy that permeates throughout that type of channel.
Play it. End of the decade, very few natives remain.
Okay, hold on.
Let me just stop. On behalf of white settlers who wanted to grow cotton on the Indian lands, the federal government forced them to leave their homelands and walk hundreds of miles, specifically designated to Indian territory across the Mississippi. The difficult and sometimes deadly journey is known as the Trail of Tears.
I know. Okay, hold up.
Yeah,
hold up. Let me read something. Hold it. God. Now, African American history.
We don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, why are you yelling?
African American.
This is actually going to get worse, people. This is just the beginning. Play it.
Specifically designated to Indian territory across the Mississippi. The difficult and sometimes deadly journey is known as the Trail of Tears.
I know. Yes. Okay, hold up.
Yeah,
hold up. Let me read something. Hold it. God. Now, African American history.
We don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, why are you yelling?
African American history is often told, includes two monumental migration stories. The forced exodus of Africans to the Americas.
We get past this, man.
That's coming out.
RBR, please, man.
Come on, Queen. All right, but come on, Queen. You got to be faster than that. It can't be the whole show.
Wrong. RBR, it doesn't have anything to do
Let
with
me make it fucking fast.
We just need her attention, man. Let her get it out.
I will make it fucking fast.
That's the problem. Y'all give these motherfucking people too much fucking rope.
You can't read the whole book.
So we can ignore
fucking hear from me.
But make a point.
Hold up.
Make a point.
Yeah,
fucking quick
You don't know what the Trail of Tears is.
I know.
Now let me fucking talk.
Let me down real quick. Go ahead, Queen. Finish up.
You won't allow me to fucking talk.
Just finish up, Queen. Go ahead.
Hurry up.
Fucking shut up already, and I will.
Good
God.
Everybody, Queen.
No,
I'm gonna prove that the Africans
Come on, Queen. You is bullshit. Now just read
the
it.
Trail of Tears. Yes, they were. Now, and let me just make it quick for you.
No, we don't want to fucking hear what you're talking about. You don't know what the fuck
you
talking about.
don't.
We don't want to fucking
You don't
hear
speak
it.
for everybody. Okay, so it's although the black presence on the Trail of Tears is a documented historical fact, many have wielded into forgetfulness, like you, Arthur.
You're a piece of shit. I don't like
you. Really? So now I'm a piece of
and
shit.
I think that y'all just come up here and just do the dumbest shit in the world, and that's why we don't get nowhere.
What's dumb about the fucking truth? You're covering for dumb fucking Taz who lost the fucking debate.
Trail of Tears and make it about black people, and it has nothing.
It was about black people.
The Trail of Tears.
Okay, now stop.
Look at the Trail of Tears, you dumb.
Again, the infection, right? Remember I told you, the infection, it deadens your senses. It gets to the point to where you don't know rhyme or reason. Can't tell friend from foe. Don't know up or down, left or right. Right? And so now they are knee deep in a infected altercation that has produced nothing but psychological chaos. And now they're looking for some normalcy amongst the chaos. Play it.
Bitch, look it up. Look it up.
Hey, AC, don't give her that
Look it
much
up.
power, man.
Look it up. No, bro, because we can have a real conversation about the debate.
We're having a real
Because you
conversation.
want to be right.
You
Hey,
gotta fucking control it.
AC, you asked her to come up though, man. You
wrong,
know
bro. She's fucking wrong.
We
Stop,
know
stop,
that though,
stop.
but she gonna be
Okay,
she
so why
wrong
should
most
we?
Exactly, a stoic. It is toxic. And this is why the reason why we're doing this. This is not to slander anyone. Okay. This is not a pop shot at anyone. This is an honest effort to get you to understand and see how we behave. I want you to see what other people see. I want you to hear what other people hear when we are in these kinds of environments and how they make up their mind to treat us because of what they hear and see. I also want you to see how you have handlers of white supremacy who are paid to allow this kind of foolishness to be displayed. And it's allowed to go on as long as possible and to degrade to its lowest form, to the point to where the people who have already engaged in this chaos have no idea that they're actually engaged in it because it's become normal to them, because the demonic energy has fully infected them to the point where they feel that this kind of chaos is normal. Play it.
Waste our time. Like, you like to waste your time. I don't.
No, I'm saying if you ask her to come up, you can't be mad at the result. Still, right?
She's wasting our time.
I know, but you got to come up though.
He's learning something.
Everybody
Stop
calm
it.
down and let the dumb bird read.
Fuck you. Now, enslaved Black people, the part of the Trail of Tears narrative no one told you about.
RBR, please, man. Please, come on, man.
Oh.
Come on, man, please.
Contrary
please,
to the popular
please,
historical
on,
narratives, the Union efforts to rein in Confederacy, it is real. And in the secessionist military rebellion, now known as the Civil War, was incomplete upon the iconic April 9th, 1865 surrender of.
Believe it or not, they're actually trying to teach each other, even though it sounds weird, right? Because they're infected with demonic energy. And so this is the way they teach each other by beating the hell out of each other with the information. And the reason why I say that this is infectious is because when they leave here, they are still imbued with this negative energy, and they carry it to other chats. They carry it to other chats and other channels. And because when they go to other chats and they don't find this kind of energy and that negative energy is still in them, they will attempt to infect the chat that they're in to create that environment that they're comfortable with being in. That's another danger of a channel like this, that the people that come off this channel is still so charged up with negative energy that they go to other chats where they don't find this kind of negative energy and they try to infect that chat because the negative environment that they're used to being in, it doesn't feel right when they're not in it. So they try to create it everywhere they go. Play it.
The undisputed historical
oh my God,
nation
man,
practiced and protected the institution.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Queen, you didn't bring up Trail of Tears yet, though.
Yeah, we
I just did. You're not fucking listening. Hold
All right,
on.
let's move on. Let's just move
Start
on.
over. It says
Let's just move on.
Indians
No, don't start over.
participated and protected the institution.
RBR Islander RBR's channel is not just this; it is way beyond toxic. It is a blight. Dane, do me a favor. Dane?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Google blight. and give us a definition of blight.
Okay.
We want to put things in this proper context so we can understand what we're dealing with. The enemy within is the toughest enemy that you'll ever face in your life. My father always told me the toughest person you'll have a fight with is the one in the mirror. So we have to take a look at ourselves. 1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, everyone. Let's see. That's why black people get no respect. Yeah, that's what Max was saying. Oh, okay. You're trying to be polite. Yeah, because they see this and this is what they mark us as. All right, I got it. You ready, Max?
Yeah, back then. You got that definition, blight?
Yeah, I got it.
Drop it on us.
Okay, first definition. A plant disease, typically one caused by fungus such as mildew, rust, and smuts. Second definition. A thing that spoils or damages something. Okay, first one as a verb, having a severely detrimental effect on.
A
Second,
severely detrimental effect on.
okay. Okay. Second one for verb, infect with blight. Infect plants with blight. But I think the one that fits what you're saying is the second one for now, a thing that spoils or damages something. Or two, or the first one as a verb, having a severe detrimental effect on.
Right, and so we'll take both of those definitions. Something that spoils everything has a severe detrimental effect on just about everything it comes to contact with, pretty much like a cancer. So that is what his channel is. His channel has a severe and detrimental effect on black people. Play it, Dane.
Institution of fucking slavery.
What is that? What is that from?
From the Atlanta Black Star. Hello.
Thank you.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat room for y'all to read. Hold up.
Okay, well, we appreciate it.
Yes, that's
You and what you appreciate, bitch.
You
Here's the fucking truth, nigga. Here's the fucking truth.
5,000 Native Americans lived.
Read the source for yourself. Okay.
Lived on 1 million acres of land in Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama,
See, this is
North
that
Carolina,
bullshit
and
we're
Florida,
talking
just
about.
like I said, right? Their ancestors had occupied and cultivated for generations. By the end of the decade, very few natives remained anywhere in southeastern United States working on behalf of white settlers who wanted to go crotting on Indian lands. The federal government forced them to leave their homelands and walk hundreds of miles to the specially designated Indian territory, which we now know is Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and so across the Mississippi River. So anything across the Mississippi River is Oklahoma, Kansas territory, right? That's what we now know those places to be. This difficult and sometimes deadly journey is known as the Trail of Tears. It has nothing to do with African Americans at all.
Hey, AC, let me ask you a question, man. You said the second and the third round was
why would you say that? RBR. So RBR, right? Now in the second round, he kind of lent on Marcus Garvey too much. And my whole thing is, if you're talking about being a Black American, Marcus Garvey is not a Black American. Marcus Garvey is a Jamaican, right? So you tie Marcus Garvey to us is just basically giving the excuse to say, well, his failed attempt to take us back to Africa delineates our African connection. He scammed us into believing that we needed to go back to Africa.
Okay, stop.
When we don't really have.
Let me say something about Africa and this connection. There's this whole thing, a whole push that the conscious community believes that we should go back to Africa. Okay. That sounds well and good, but again, we haven't even learned how to live as a people over here yet. To go to a whole land that we really have no knowledge of and try to just pick up and get something started would seem kind of strange. And you have to understand something too, right? We are so many generations of our ancestors removed from Africa that we are an entirely different people. We are not Africans. We may still have African blood running through our veins, but we are not Africans. We have been removed from our ancestors. Too many generations removed from our ancestors. We don't have any kind of resemblance to Africans at all in culture. All right? And the thing about Marcus Garvey, they're talking about he went to Africa. Marcus Garvey has never set foot in Africa. Jabari was wrong when he said that Marcus Garvey fled Africa. No, that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about Haile Selassie fleeing Africa from Mussolini and how he was fighting cowardly to the point where he fled Africa. So that was misworded on Brother Jabari's part. That was actually wrong. Okay? But, and that'll be pointed out because only the verbal assassin got that right when she'll come in here later on. All right? Play it, Dan.
No connection to him. See, for me, that's like you're saying, well, all these Black people got here, but they didn't come from Africa. But, so listening to Marcus Garvey talk about going back to Africa was a sham because none of us came from Africa. And I think, why would you do that? That's so easy to prove. These people don't understand there's actual slave ships. There's actual books that slaves wrote. There are actual slave manifests that you can actually go see.
Fucking disrespect for no fucking reason.
That you can actually go see. And that's where
the fact of the matter is
he just went
in.
And
I also thought too that he was talking for.
He wants to hide amongst America. Okay,
come on. What are you talking about, Queen?
Instead of Africa, that's what I'm talking about.
She doesn't wait her turn.
Shut up, you dumb fucking Bull Connor, and siding with fucking Hoover.
Okay, stop.
That fucker is.
This is what I mean by infectious demonic energy. Okay, Miss FedEx and Joe, respectfully, that conversation is not appropriate because I don't want to get anything started over here. Not that we can't defend ourselves from vermin, but we don't want to get anything started. Okay, we don't want the outside influence of these kinds of negative environments to make our way into this environment. All right. So with all due respect, that conversation that y'all having is inappropriate for this environment. And play it.
Name who was in charge of the FBI back.
Yeah, that was.
What was his name? J. Edgar
Hoover.
Hoover.
In charge of the FBI in 1920 something. He was a fucking agent.
J. Edgar fucking Hoover
was not in charge of the
who said we must prevent the rise of a Black fucking Messiah.
Queen, shut up, nigga.
Oh, fuck you. Now,
right.
He said we must, excuse me, prevent the rise of a Black Messiah.
Because there's so much infected demonic energy, now anybody can come in there now and just start hurling insults, start disrespecting people, because that's what this environment is now. That's what it's being sold as to the people who are watching. You can come up here, you can get your best insult off. You can come up here and disrespect anybody on the panel. You can come up here and shit on anybody on the panel. You can come up here and be just as degenerate as you possibly can. That's what this environment is creating. And we have to understand as black people, we have to do better than this. This is not getting us anywhere, but this is actually hurting us. It's hurting us. You may not feel it right now, but at some point you're going to feel the results of this kind of behavior. Because again, we're not a people that's in a very good position in society. You have to understand, we are in a very dangerous position as a race of people. We are totally dependent on everyone around us to survive. We don't have any real resources of our own. We don't really produce anything. We can barely feed ourselves. Yeah, I understand it happened in my channel, but we're not going to continue something like that. We have to correct ourselves. If it happens here, then we'll correct it. We don't want to keep it going. That's something that we're trying to get away from. That's the whole point of watching this kind of stuff, so we can learn how to correct ourselves and get ourselves out of a tailspin. Okay, because I truly believe that channels like this, like RBR's channel, is really destroying the image of black people on social media. And let me tell you something. Social media is not make-believe. It is connected all over the world. And people who watch social media or on social media are real people who make real decisions from what they see and hear. So this is not make-believe. This is actually serious business. Play it.
Yeah, no, we understand that. Okay, so that point, we're going to give her the point.
If it was make-believe, if it wasn't real, then people wouldn't be losing their jobs behind what their bosses have seen them say and do on social media. Play it.
That Taz was using an argument that was made by the racist.
Just say that.
Yes.
No, here's the point. No, there's a point. So Taz's first argument in the first segment, which tell me if I'm wrong when I say this.
Man, I want to finish. Hey, man.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. What Taz in his first segment was basically saying Africa ain't shit, and therefore we don't have to be associated with it. But the reason that J. Edgar Hoover and whatever racist was mad at Garvey is because he went over there and he found that they was making tires with the rubber from the trees, and he said, shit, I could sell this shit to Firestone Motor because they got the Fords and shit, Henry Ford to them motherfuckers, and I can get rich, and so can you guys too, which is what he did. And that's how he got rich. And so it was.
That's actually wrong. Well, something like that did take place, but eventually later, he was found to be fraudulent, and he was actually thrown in jail from that deal. That's why you don't really see any traces of that deal today, because he was found to be fraudulent. I think they accused him of mail fraud and actually threw him in jail. Okay, but there is a standing contract between Liberia and Firestone today. I think it's still going on today. But the whole Marcus Garvey part was dissolved when they accused him of mail fraud and pretty much being fraudulent and threw him in jail. So he did not reap any benefits of that deal, like RBR is saying that he made billions of dollars. He did not. He was actually thrown in prison. Play it.
Wasn't that the culture was all fucked up and we were living in huts and we were raping 14-year-old girls. No, it's because Marcus Garvey got rich off of that.
Hold on. I got a question because I didn't get
they wanted to destroy it.
I didn't get a chance to watch all of it. I seen snippets, but I thought that Taz didn't like Marcus Garvey, so he was using Marcus Garvey as a
no. That's what I'm saying. He was using Marcus Garvey as an excuse because Marcus Garvey. And see, this is what you guys do to me. He legitimately wanted to go back to Africa.
Come on,
he legitimately wanted to go back to Africa. But when he found out he could make hundreds of millions of dollars at that time by selling them damn tires to the Firestone Rubber Company, What the fuck would he want to stay in Africa for?
Well, hold on.
Once he originally went, fuck the USA,
with your
there ain't
argument.
no money here. Fuck this
Okay,
place.
stop.
When he got to Africa and real.
Actually, the Liberians didn't make tires; they sold the rubber, right? And Firestone made their own tires, so that's another lie. And Marcus Garvey did not get rich; he was actually thrown in jail for fraud behind the same deal. So he did not get rich. There's a reason why he died broke. Broke means not rich. Okay, play it.
Realized that they had sitting on billions of dollars of gold and oil and rubber tires and shit and cell phone chips and shit. That's when he said, well, shit, we could be making money.
Well, if that was
the United States. And then he signed that agreement with Firestone, and them motherfuckers got rich. And that's why them racists hated him.
Really. I'm sorry, RBR.
And inferior as a race.
So I'm gonna have to watch it because I'm not
hold on.
Did Taz use?
Okay, now stop. Now it's about to start to get interesting because now Big J is on the panel now. Okay, Big J is a controversial dude in his own right, but now he's about to come on the panel. It's already a bad environment. Now, when the infection really sets into everybody on the panel, it doesn't matter who comes up there. Once they come up, once you start coming up there, it's already too late. As soon as you open up your mouth, you are infected and you are knee deep into a pool of chaos, as you will soon hear. Play it. They ain't play it.
RBR's lying. Tell you what RBR's lying at. First of all,
Arthur saw it. I wish Arthur had been up here.
They made artificial rubber.
No, it was real rubber.
Artificial rubber. Why are y'all taking the conversation off of fucking shit that don't have nothing to do with the debate? Like, why y'all do that? Why can't y'all have an edifying debate for once? Why can't y'all take y'all personal bullshit out of it and just have a debate about the two gentlemen and what they were speaking about? Why can't
so let's talk about the first.
Why we gotta talk about Marcus Garvey and rubber?
No,
why can't we talk about what the whole question is the review of the debate? Why are we having
so we talked about
everybody coming in trying to show how
smart
they are, all this bullshit.
Okay, Arthur. I don't know about
I ain't see the debate. I'm just trying to
get me and RBR watched the whole motherfucking debate from beginning to end.
Right. So what I said, Arthur, was his first part of his debate was that the African culture is fucked up. All right, the 14-year-old raping of the 14-year-old girls. We broke, we poor, we in huts, and we ain't got no
mutilation and all that. The genital mutilation
and then all that. When he went to Marcus Garvey, he implied that Marcus Garvey was a scam artist because he wanted to take us back to Africa.
See, one thing about Africa is a dangerous debate. It's a very, very dangerous debate, and I recommend people who don't really know much about Africa to stay away from an African debate. It's a very dangerous debate to have because there are things that are going on in Africa that Africans are doing to each other that are absolutely inhumane and even worse than things that was done to us in slavery. I mean, there are cities and places in Africa to where the town have its own military militia, different militias, and they take turns murdering people that live in that province. Okay, I mean, I've seen them go into houses and take out whole families and walk them across the street and shoot them all in the head, from the youngest to the oldest, simply because of a difference in ideology. I mean, just brutal, savage behavior. And there are more things that are going on in Africa that are unbelievable. I haven't even gotten to the necktie thing yet. That is still going on today. So Africa is a dangerous, dangerous debate. You're talking about the African Union, who are absolute sellouts and nothing but puppets to every other country in the known world, and how they oppress their people. Even in Ghana, the people in Ghana can't even speak out unless they're murdered. I mean, there's a problem. There's all kinds of problems in Africa. So you can't just paint Africa with some rosy brush and say that we need to go back there because this is who we are. Again, we are so many generations removed from our ancestors. It's not even funny. We are a completely different people. If you want to say that you have African blood running through your veins, just to say that you're still somehow connected to the motherland, by all means, go right on ahead and say that. But you are not the same people. We're not even remotely like each other anymore. We are completely different people. We are not Africans. We may be of African descent, but we are not, Africans are not us, and we are not them. We may be connected to them via blood, even if that still exists, but we are a completely different cultural people than Africans are. We don't even think the same. We don't look at things the same. We don't share no kind of culture whatsoever. So I think that it's disingenuous for people in the conscious community to just get up and just start running their mouth about Africa and try to paint all of these fake pictures about Africa. Because the conscious community, they only deal with one place in Africa, and that's Egypt and Kemet. Because that fits their narrative whenever they debate. They're always debating about ancient Kemet, and you know what? And that's even a problem. Because you're talking about bestiality and homosexuality. Man, I'm telling you, Africa is a very dangerous debate to have. Okay? It's a very dangerous debate to have. You got to really understand what you're up against when you're debating Africa. You see, if I would have debated the Barbie on Africa, right, I would have took him out of his comfort zone. All right? See, when you stay around Kemet and let them talk all that BS about, what we did with hieroglyphics and the coffin text and all that. So you let them stay around that, then they're going to knock you over the head. So you got to take them out of that. You got to bring them out into the deep waters of Africa, like Liberia, Libya, okay, Timbuktu, Uganda, Papua New Guinea, Carthage, the Polynesians, Eastern Africa. We can go on and on and on with some real knowledge. What's going on out there in the bush behind Kush and the Congo? All of these, merciless murders of young children. How in certain parts of Africa they're still eating people. Okay. See, this is the type of truth about Africa they want to stay away from. They only want to stay into the rosy color part that they call Kemet. Play it.
And then he never ended up going back to Africa, but he did. He went to Africa. He saw what they were doing with the rubber. Baby bought his book, all right, and read his book. So the book is here. I didn't want to read it, but I read enough of it to know because I'm interested in the money. Right. So he
exactly
said,
stop.
Can I sell these tires?
Exactly, truth. It's hell going on in Somalia right now. I bet you won't hear Jabari talk about Nigeria right now. Why? Because that would kill their little rosy picture of Africa, because they don't want to deal with the rest of Africa. They just want to deal with Kemet and Egypt. They don't want to talk about all of the hell going on in Nigeria right now, where they're murdering each other, fighting the police, killing each other over this and that. Somalia, okay, it's in hell right now. Libya, all of the slave shit that's going on in Libya right now, Liberia. They don't want to talk about all that. They want to stay with Kemet because they want to wear unks and shit. And they want to pretend that they're Kemetic priests. Okay? Play it.
To the Firestone Rubber Company. You can get rich, and so could I. And they said, sure. And so he signed an agreement with the Firestone Rubber Company, and he got rich. RBR. Stop it, Big J. Because you're about to bring the white version of the argument.
Do this, man. Like you ain't like why you just can't join the conversation? Like why would you bring your fucking ego
because
and all
he
that
can't
shit
respect us?
That's not what we're talking about, bro. Like, come
You
on,
brought
y'all
your ego to me, Arthur.
Because we're black. Now stop it. We know
like, for
why.
once, man. Like, for once, why y'all gotta come over here and try to
Let me
show
finish.
that y'all
Let
the
me
smartest
finish.
in the room?
If the
Y'all
white
not the
people want to
smartest in the
argue,
room.
if
Give it
you
a
want to
fucking
represent
break.
the white
We're
people,
talking about
then you
two
can
men
do it.
that had a debate. We're not talking about Marcus Garvey.
us like we're
We're
dumb.
talking about the debate that took place yesterday.
like we're dumb. So therefore, I'm mad.
No, because you are dumb for taking
Match the
only
same
one side of
image
the
on
Nobody is
argument.
saying
Yes,
that you're dumb.
that
What
is
we're saying
dumb.
is,
Well, I'm
don't
saying
be
it
led
is.
off by RBR and go into the tangent he's going on. Let him do what he's
Listen
doing.
to
Let
both
him use
sides
his
of the
non
argument.
sequitur to
That's
get
all
where
I'm
he's
saying.
going and follow along with what we're really doing.
Okay, now let's so here's my point real quickly before I'm interrupted. He said that Marcus Garvey was a scam artist. I said Marcus Garvey really was at his wits' end with the United States, just like he was with Ethiopia up until 1938. So he said, fuck this shit. Let's go back to Africa. So they went back to Africa, and then he realized he could become a multi-millionaire by selling the damn rubber tires to the Firestone Rubber Company. He signed a deal with Firestone. It was making money hand over fist, and he decided that he wasn't going to go back to Africa. Now that's honest and that's fair, and that's why they didn't like him, because
Hey, stop.
He was
Except what, Miss FedEx? What is it that I'm not accepting? Dan, do you understand what she's talking about? What am I not accepting?
Okay. Okay. It might have something to do with an earlier conversation. Let's see. Let me go. Oh, about uh, um, I think Miss Chantel and what she said on our show.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that was yesterday, Miss FedEx. It's not that I'm not accepting it. I don't want that to break the focus of what I'm trying to teach today. That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't want the chat to get distracted by what went on yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday. We're trying to learn something today. I don't want that to become the focus of what we're trying to learn today.
Oh no.
That was yesterday.
I was misunderstanding. It was said. I was just answering Joe. She said she accepted something that they were talking about.
Well, it says, she said, and I do understand why Max don't accept it. Oh, okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, but yeah, that was yesterday, but we worked that out. And shout out to the ladies for being ladies on the panel yesterday and being adults about working through your differences. See, that's what I'm talking about, people. See, when you care about your people, that's the way you do it, okay? There was a difference between the two ladies. We brought them up here. We made sure they didn't fight. And understand how I did that, fellas, okay? I got in between two women, and I wouldn't let them fight. And I promised that I wouldn't let them fight. I'm not going to let them fight. I told them, I'm not RBR. I'm not going to let that go down. So what happened when I did that, right? I created an environment of instant protection because both of them knew I wasn't going to let them hurt each other, even verbally. I wasn't going to let them hurt each other. So I provided an environment of protection which made them feel comfortable to talk out their differences. See? You don't have to tear each other apart. And they were able to work out their differences. I'm not saying that we have to ignore things that we have problems with about each other, but there's ways that we can deal with them without tearing each other apart any further. Sometimes we do have to sit down and work our differences out with each other in order to heal and move past it. And so shout out to the ladies for being ladies yesterday and being able to work out your differences. Play it.
Finding out how to become financially independent and teach us that, which is what they've always tried to stop us from doing. So my point is, it's like we find when we have these debates about wanting to be African or not wanting to be African, it's like and it's to the present day, right? To the present day, the whole issue that you see with Black America is They don't want to acknowledge the contributions of Black people who may have foreign Black parents that may be in positions of power within the American structure. So and if you take it all the way back to Garvey, it's the same thing. See, we don't want to look at that at that time. The government don't want to see no Black Jamaican ugly dude getting money. That's the last thing they wanted. So when they put the propaganda shit out about him, and I mean, think about this. There was Black Americans who was willing to become FBI agents to undermine Marcus Garvey. Has that story changed? We've seen that happen time and time again. We've seen it happen to Malcolm X. We've seen it happen to Martin Luther King. We've seen it happen to plenty of people, right? Time memoriam. What they do is they find these Black willing participants that want to put food on the table, that don't really have no creativity. They just want to get a job and take care of their families and get accepted by the white community. And these people undermine us. And then on their deathbeds, they be like, the only reason where they found out that the guys who killed Malcolm X really didn't kill him is because that cop gave that deathbed confession.
So AC, you support Marcus Garvey, unlike Taz, right?
Oh, I'm a huge Marcus Garvey fan. Huge. Yeah, I'm a Garvey.
But how many times
I'm
Marcus Garvey undermined? Hold on, Arthur.
No, you hold on, motherfucker.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Listen, let's act like
and here she come to do even more.
Yes, let's act like we're dope. So I just have a quick question.
But here's the thing, man. How many times did Marcus Garvey undermine Booker T. Washington? How many times?
What was that about, Jay? What was that about, Big J? That was about Booker T. Washington. It wasn't Booker T. Washington. It was W.E. Du Bois. Booker T. Washington was gone before Marcus Garvey came. They was two different things. I'm talking about. See, and this is what I'm saying.
Hold on. I'm not even finished. I'm not finished. Then how many people Marcus Garvey undermined himself?
None. Name them.
Other Black leaders.
Name them. Name the ones he undermined.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
See, and this is what I'm saying. Like, you guys are just a bunch of fucking
maniacs.
Oh my Jesus Christ! You know what? Let me just say something. Why do you fucking get up here and disrespect everybody like that?
Stop.
Nobody's even disrespecting you.
Now, what you're hearing right now is someone has reached their cable toe. I'm a Mason, okay? Everybody done figured it out. I'm a Mason. I'm not a practicing Mason anymore, but, I stopped at past master. I could have went up to 33rd to 3rd, but I had no interest in that. Past master was good enough for me. And so in Masonry, we have something called a cable toe. We have the square. When a person reaches the end of the cable toe, it's either going to be a good thing or it's going to be a bad thing. But it's definitely going to be a thing because you don't reach the end of your cable toe for no reason. And that's why it's called the cable toe, because when you reach it, something will happen. Now, depending on what that is, depending on how you reach the end of your cable toe, will determine what happens. And apparently this woman, Verbal Assassin, has reached the end of her cable toe. And now she is blowing up like an atom bomb. And now it's about to get really nasty. Play it.
Why don't you mind your business?
Nobody,
Why don't you mind your business? Why don't you mind your business? You cuss people out on every panel that you go on. Your name is Verbal Assassin. Your name is. I wasn't talking to you. I didn't disrespect you. You have listen, Verbal. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what you're talking about.
Now stop.
I don't give a fuck what you're talking about.
Now you see, brothers. One thing I want to show you guys, right? When you create this kind of environment, all right, this kind of unstable emotional environment, you have to understand women are going to be attracted to that kind of environment because they are naturally emotional. This is what I mean. You see, you set the example and you set the standard with your behavior. Now, if the brothers on that panel were calm, cool, and collected and had self-control, she would have never interrupted the environment like that because she would have been calm herself. She would have came in and eased her way into the conversation and would have had a delightful conversation. Why? Because the men on the panel will have set the behavior and the standard for what's going on in the panel. She doesn't see the men up here getting volatile and emotional and crazy, whatever. And so it will calm her spirits. But because the men on this panel can't hold water, and they are emotional and they are cheap, they are weak and can't accept anything from anybody, and they're going back and forth fighting like cats and dogs, and they're being extremely disrespectful, and they've created a highly toxic, unstable environment filled with negative emotion. This invites women. It's like a magnet. Because why? Because women are naturally emotional. So when you create an unstable emotional environment, it's going to attract women too. Play it.
I don't care. You're being nosy. You're minding
Here's the problem, author. Here's the problem, author.
Please stay out of
author.
it. Please.
Hey, author.
Go ahead, Big J. I'm listening.
Don't own blackness. You don't own blackness, author, and you don't
It's
own
not about
blackness.
owning blackness.
No.
What the fuck are you talking about? This is what I'm saying. You guys are a bunch of fucking dweebs.
It's
I
make
don't.
insults
What
to
the fuck you talking about
somebody
owning blackness?
bring up
What the
a
fuck does that have to
position
do with what
Now
we're
stop.
talking
you
about?
don't agree with.
I'ma shut the
But
fuck
you
up.
Now you have two men who cannot work out their differences like men. They are deeply engaged in an emotional battle. And this doesn't look right. This is not the way a man is supposed to behave. You are not supposed to lose your cool to that degree. You're supposed to exercise self-control. Men are about strength. This is not strength. This is why women are getting involved. Why? Because you're in their wheelhouse. You're emotional. That's the house women are in. You're in their house, doing what they do, getting emotional. You aren't supposed to be in their house. There's no reason why these men shouldn't be able to take care of their differences like men. They're behaving like women. This is attracting other women. This is why women are all in your business, because you are behaving like them. You are attracting them with your behavior. Play it.
You don't make that make sense, Big J.
No.
Make what you said make sense.
I'm better than you, nigga.
Make what you said make sense.
I'm gonna start doing
that.
it. I'm being
Okay, stop. One more thing. You have women who stay out of men's business, right? Because they recognize those men as men, right? And you have some women that don't have no respect for men, regardless of what the situation is. I understand that those women are out there too, right? But, we're working on that. We got to try to work with those sisters as well. But there's some women who respect men and stay out of their business, right? But when you behave like them, there's nothing for them to stay out of. There's nothing for them to respect. Why? Because you're behaving like them. So they feel they have every right to be in the conversation as you do. Because you're behaving like them. You have taken your manhood out of it. You have chosen to change your testosterone for estrogen. And now you are attracted more estrogen. Play it.
I'm better
Make that
than you.
make sense.
How about that
Make
shit?
what you just said make sense.
Because it's true. Marcus
Make
Garvey.
No, not that motherfucker about me owning black
at the time.
Make that make sense.
Because I came in trying to offer my opinion.
Yeah, you don't got no reason. Just
you want somebody to come in and run interference. Why is
Go ahead
that?
and finish with
Why
the
is that?
part. Go ahead.
No, why is that? That's the problem with you so-called pro-blacks. That's the problem with you red ball, green ball, black ball.
What's wrong with you dumbass country mama ass niggas that hate being black? What's wrong with that?
You think you know everything
What's
about
wrong
being
with you
black?
country Bama ass?
Sit your old ass down
white
somewhere.
women loving.
Yeah, you got you damn
You
right. You damn right. You damn right about that one. Because I'm better than you. I'm better than most you niggas on here. Because guess what? Y'all are the anti.
Why you bringing the rest of us into
So
it?
that
This
proves
is
that
your
you're not
problem
better
with
than
our
us.
show.
The
Why
problem
you
is that
assaulting
you
us
niggas
now?
know y'all not better than us, and that's what gets y'all upset.
Ran the intellectuals
Get
out
control
of this
of the
space.
panel,
Y'all
I mean, if you want to attack Arthur, that's one
ran
thing. But
the
why you
Tough, but
attacking the
you
rest of us,
all
niggas?
you got is clowns.
Now stop.
Y'all ran
RBR.
Stop. Now at this point, nobody mind is functioning properly because they have all been completely infected by the demonic energy of this cesspool of black degradation. Nobody's mind is functioning properly at this point. They don't even realize that they are in a chaotic situation. They can't hear each other clearly. There's nothing coherent going on, nothing coherent being said. It's just a bunch of stuff going back and forth in every direction possible. And they're not even aware of it because they are infected. This kind of environment, like I said before, will deaden your senses. It'll turn off your common sense. It will stop your ability to exercise original thought and critical thinking. They're in an all-out verbal melee with no rhyme or reason, no stability, no coherentness. And they're still trying to push their way through as if they're the only one that's being heard. Play it.
Y'all was just calling all kinds of stupid, dumb fucking clowns.
Somebody came on here and said, Arthur, you want to make insults.
All right, you guys make a point, though. Everybody.
Yes, Stoic, and this is why I do this, because I want you to see how bad this is. I want you to see how we are behaving and how we are allowed to behave and how it's displayed to the rest of the world. I'm trying to tell you, this is not make-believe. Social media is real. And when people around the world, they see and they hear this, they make a decision about who you are and how they're going to treat you. And we are not in a position to do anything about that other than correct our behavior because we don't have any power. We are in a consumer position to where we rely on everybody to survive and get services and goods. So we're pretty much at everybody else's mercy with this kind of behavior. Play it.
Make a point. Make your point. Whoever was talking.
I just wanted to know what happened in the second and the third round.
What happened in the second and the third round?
I made no insults to anybody. I made no insults to anybody when he
let verbal go and then we'll.
Goddamn.
Said you were smarter than all of us.
Segment to the debate. Hold up, Joey. Hold up, everybody.
Yes, I said it. Yeah, I said it for a reason.
Okay, hold on, Big J.
For a reason. It's not that I think I'm smarter than everybody. I'm just saying it because.
Y'all hear this? It sounds like a busy day at Grand Central Station in New York. It sounds like you're at a concert with a whole bunch of people talking. It sounds like you're in a crowd of people somewhere and everybody's talking. Right? This is no longer a healthy environment. Well, it's not a healthy environment to begin with. But again, let's not even discount the ailments that Black people suffer from, like high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, you shouldn't be in an environment like this because this will raise your blood pressure through the roof. Play it.
That's how y'all act.
Hey, let the lady talk.
We know we hate each other. Now, come on.
All right, so what happened in the second part?
Yeah, that's what I was the fucking problem up over here.
Girl, not at all. It's
These
not.
niggas.
They just crazy, honey. They need
They just admit that they black.
So I wanted to ask a question to you, RBR, because I know that you keep saying about the going into Marcus Garvey going into Africa. So
control yourself.
I was wanting to know
But Conscious asked the question
if that actually happened, RBR.
The negative energy is running so hot right now that nobody can even be quiet. They can't even control their own mouth. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to how you look and behave the next time you're in some kind of environment like this. The negative energy is so hot right now that nobody can even control their own mouth or their own thoughts. They just keep talking. They won't stop because the negative energy is that hot inside that it won't allow them to even be quiet. And they just continue to push the envelope. And they continue to antagonize each other. If this was going on in the real world, somebody would get physically harmed. And it would be more than one person. Play it.
Talking to RBR.
When
did that actually happen?
Like
exactly. You're an ignorant motherfucker. Why don't you stay the fuck up out of it and mind your fucking
business? No, come on,
Arthur.
we don't need that. Let's have the conversation we want to have.
Mentally ill, crazy, serial killing motherfucker. You ain't nothing but a crazy, ass nigga. You crazy as fuck.
I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. You're ignorant like the rest of them. I don't
you
give a
are
fuck
the one who
talking about.
quorum on panels.
Like the rest of them.
And everybody.
You're ignorant.
You're too scared to
ignorant. And
you because you
other people
rabid
always sticking your nose and shit. Always got something to say about some shit that don't fucking pertain to you.
Damn, nigga.
It don't have nothing to pertain.
Okay, stop. Now, why am I going to talk about the man in this case? Can anybody tell me why? Okay. Y'all know me for quite some time now. Okay. There's a reason why I'm going to talk about the man in this case and not the woman. The reason why is because the woman is not out of pocket. The man is the one that's out the pocket. There's no, brothers, you should not be engaging a woman in this fashion. You have no business engaging a female in this fashion. You have to understand, exercise patience over emotions when you are dealing with female, especially grown women. Especially grown women who have children. A regular woman is one thing, but a woman who has given birth and raised a child is a whole different animal. No disrespect, to them, not calling women animals, but it's a whole different situation. You cannot approach them the same way. And you should under no circumstance engage a female, engage a grown woman this way. Nothing good is going to happen. You are completely out of pocket. You have lost your self-control. You have lost your stance of strength as a man. And the more you continue to argue with her, the less respect she's going to have for you until that respect level reaches zero. Because she knows you're not supposed to be arguing with her like that, but for some reason you don't know. You ever heard the expression, don't argue with a woman? There's a reason why. There's a reason why. You don't engage them on any kind of emotional plane. That's not a plane that you should be on as a man. You should have disengaged a long time ago. And it's okay to concede to a woman's argument when she's right. The problem comes in is when you don't even want to give her argument when she's right. A lot of you guys are so filled with hatred that you don't even want to give the woman an argument when she's right. And that's problematic. Yesterday when I was talking to Shatira, right? She challenged me on 2 points. First one she challenged me on, I owned up to it, and we dealt with that. The second point she challenged me on, I did not hear But the way she presented it to me, she was in the right. And so what did I do? I gave her her argument. And I said, Shatira, you're right. That was wrong of so and so to do that. And boom, that situation was over and done with. There was no volatile argument. There was no need for her to tap into her emotions. There was no need for me to become uncouth, any of that. So you guys get way over the top when you start trying to deny women the right to be themselves. Give them their argument. If they're right, concede. Give them their argument. Disengage from the situation. Do not try to meet a woman on an emotional level. That's not your thing. Play it.
Like this at your
Run
age.
your mouth
You
as usual.
55
Mind
years
other people's business as
acting like
usual.
a fucking
And I
5-year-old.
don't care what you
All
talk
you
about.
do
I don't
is
care
enough.
But see that this kind of thing, this is why
Christ,
when
just
they do
ignorant. And
debate,
you notice
they're
it's
so
the same
horrible
crew.
because they
They
don't.
drag their
They,
back.
they,
Big
if
J
you're
alone.
black,
Nobody to
they
talk.
feel like
He
that
thinks he's
you
the
don't
only one
matter,
who's supposed
and
to talk.
if
No
you're
one else
lying,
supposed
if you
to
don't
talk.
lying,
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
if you ain't lying and trying to
All
kill
right,
off the
y'all.
black race, they don't want nothing to do with you.
This is
Now
crazy.
go ahead, bro.
Stop,
Go ahead.
please.
Nuts, man. Nuts.
So
First
I
Queen
was able
fuck
to
it
go.
up. Now here she come to
You gonna
fuck it up. Then
This
Big
nigga's
J come
crazy
to
as
fuck it up.
fuck.
They're the
If y'all
fucking
don't know
and
that,
it's-
then I
and
don't know
like
what to
conscious,
tell
this
you.
what fucks me up, right? They're so
This is
fucking
absolutely
transparent
absurd.
that they don't see that this is the
I
fucking
know
play
it's
that they run
ridiculous.
every
Look
fucking
at him.
time.
He's crazy.
Whatever.
It's okay.
Well,
we got other people
God
in the world,
damn.
and we have to let
Whatever,
people.
whatever,
You know, there's
whatever.
not.
Other
I
people
know that
fucking
there's things
talk.
you learn.
Whatever.
They wasn't the only ones in the alley. There was other niggas in the alley.
Whatever.
All right, go ahead, Miss Alley.
Okay, so basically,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, okay, okay. So my thing is that I've been looking and searching, and I can't find anywhere where it says that Marcus Garvey set foot on any country on the continent. I see London, I see Switzerland, I see he went back to Jamaica, I guess, a couple of times.
Yes.
Costa Rica, but it doesn't say anywhere. I've done all of that, okay, nigga.
I know. So the Nazis that hated him
So,
because he
but
got
I
rich.
don't asking. So what I'm asking
I don't give a
RBR,
fuck who
what
you
I'm asking
asking.
RBR is RBR.
Okay, she's not going to. Arthur, please let us answer the question.
Why don't you
God
type
damn.
Garvey,
This
Ethiopia,
is
ignorant?
horrible. This
Why don't you
is
do that?
absolutely ridiculous.
Okay,
So anyway,
all right.
RBR,
All
do
right.
you know your mama is, you bitch ass nigga?
You're
the one.
Okay,
You're the
come
one who
on,
can't
Arthur,
control
man.
yourself on a
Well,
fucking
That's
tablet.
very
I knew
immature.
Arthur
Don't point
messed up.
people's mamas into
Stupid
it.
ass dummy. Anyway, so RBR, do you have an actual?
Bitch, you know I'm not dumb.
You're a
The
bitch.
last
You're
thing
a,
I am
I
is
know
dumb.
that you actually
The
are very
last thing
dumb
I am
now.
is dumb.
You're
I'm
dumb
just
now.
tired of
No,
y'all.
I
I'm
didn't
just
change
tired
your
of
fucking
y'all
mind. You're
stupid
dumb as fuck.
motherfuckers
And you
with y'all
belong in a
fraudulent,
straight jacket. You
disingenuous
belong
bullshit
in a
that y'all
metal
come and do
straight
on
jacket,
panels and
actually.
pretending like
A
y'all
metal
genuine. Y'all
straight
pieces
jacket
of
is what
shit.
you belong
Y'all are
in. You are
pieces
fucking
of shit.
crazy.
That's why we
You're a
can never have
clown. You're a
high-minded
loser,
conversations
and you're
because of
mentally
stupid
fucking
motherfuckers
ill.
like
There's
y'all.
something
Because
fucking
of
wrong with
stupid
you.
motherfuckers like
You're
you,
so
Queen Maya,
insecure.
and motherfucking
Why are you
Big
so
J.
insecure? If
Y'all
you're so fucking
stupid
smart,
motherfuckers.
why are you so
Ignorant,
insecure?
how
If you're so fucking
disingenuous,
smart,
How I'm
stupid
stupid,
why are you
nigga?
so
How I'm
insecure?
stupid, nigga?
You're
How
Come on, you
insecure.
guys.
Stupid
Come on now.
motherfuckers. All
He's an
y'all do is
insecure
come
stupid
and cause trouble
he
and
is.
be
He's a
contrarian and say
I'm
dumb
causing
shit.
trouble.
Calm
You
too.
know.
fucking
If I'm causing
Fuck
trouble,
out of it. I
if
never
I'm
called
causing
him
trouble,
stupid.
good.
I didn't
He's a stupid little
disrespect
ass
him.
bitch. He's a disrespectful piece of shit
Yeah,
ass roach
exactly.
ass nigga.
He
And
needs
you're
to
an
be
ugly
shut
fucking
all
bitch.
the way the
You're an
fuck
ugly
up.
cornball bitch that don't do nothing but cause problems on YouTube. That's
Nigga,
See,
it.
your
because he
mama
came up
All
here
right,
real
okay,
quick.
come
your
on,
mama
Arthur, stop that.
didn't
Fuck
Arthur.
all
Now
three
we're
of
They
y'all.
love to do this
You
on
no
my
fucking
channel
problem,
Got a
bitch
because they're
ass
trying
nigga.
to
I
You know
destroy
what
my
I do?
channel.
I take care
I only
Bring
call
my
him
other
They think
sexual
that if they
connotation.
can lie to
some
people,
nigga.
their
about
lives
that?
will be
Some
better.
nigga.
Right now,
You
I'm
the
about
one
What
that?
problem
you
is
don't
this?
fix
How
some
about
bitch
that?
nigga.
If
You
you
need
so
some
Kim
hoes
fucking
that
Boo.
annoying,
fix your
Talking to
I
you,
fucking
know
Art.
these
fucking problems
motherfuckers. I
You
live
just
in
mad,
Philly,
Art,
Philly.
because
weirdo.
nobody
Ask
ain't
them where
talking to
Buck
you.
at, and they'll tell you.
Okay,
Weirdo
stop.
motherfucker.
Nobody
How
ain't
about
talking to you, Art.
Want to give y'all a really good dose of that before I said something. Wow, did y'all hear all of that? It has completely broken down into nothing but a jousting match of insults that have pretty much bad intentions behind every insult. Beating the hell out of each other with information, won't allow anybody to talk. It's just a complete meltdown. And we have to take it. You see, the way I want y'all to take a look at this, I don't want y'all to look at this in the way of, man, these people are crazy and shit, And I don't want y'all to throw in. So I want y'all to learn from what you're looking at, because the rest of the world is watching this too. People from all walks of life are listening to this behavior. Okay, this is why this is the way I want you to watch, listen, and watch with this with an open mind, right? Now, the worst thing you can do when you watch this and say, other people are doing it too. I don't care about what other people are doing. Let's care about what we are doing. Same thing like in Africa, right? When you have all these atrocities going on in Africa and you put somebody's feet to the fire about it, they tell you, well, these things are going on all over the world, as to excuse the fact that they're going on in Africa, the place that we say that we want to go back to. Well, we're going back to Africa, then what does the rest of the world have to do with anything? We're not going all over the world. We're going to Africa. So we're concerned with what's going on in Africa. We're concerned that these things are going on in Africa where we want to go. So if you really pay attention to what you're hearing, remember, I told you this kind of environment, it deadens your senses. It turns off your common sense. So they're in a very chaotic and violent situation, and they're looking for things that you would look for in a normal situation, such as peace, courtesy, respect. Even though they're knee deep in an environment where all of those things have long since disappeared, they're still looking for those things in a place where it's not going to happen. If you pay attention to what's being said, they're still asking for respect. They're still asking to be heard. There's no chance of that right now. Play it.
Nobody
Yes.
telling you that. That's why
the money up and catch a flight, nigga.
You're mad because nobody talks to you, Art. That's why. Nobody talks to you. That's why everyone is pissed off at you.
All right.
Seriously. That's why.
Self-hate shit.
Stop.
That's the self-hate shit.
Bullshit.
Now, what
Y'all hear that? He almost sound like a damn monster, right? I mean, my blood pressure went up just hearing that. Can you imagine how high his blood pressure is right now? And see, this is another thing, right? We suffer from things like high blood pressure. How healthy is an environment like this? How healthy is it? You're right, Joe. RBR should have got control, but he can't because he's a scumbag too. And he wants this to continue because he gets paid to allow this stuff to continue. So it doesn't matter to him if Big J falls out from a stroke or being so angry at what's going on for that channel that his blood pressure went through the roof. RBR doesn't care nothing about that. And Big J at this point is so infected with the demonic energy in that environment, he doesn't care about himself either. See? And the sad part about it is we keep supporting environments like this that are a detriment to our health in all phases, all areas. And they make us look bad too. They make people want to treat us a certain kind of way. You're going to have a white boy come on the panel, pretty much think that we're all savages. If he thinks that, what do you think the rest of the world's thinking that? Now, we don't have the luxury to not give a damn about what other people think. You know why? Because we are dependent on everybody. So we just can't sit up here and say, well, fuck what they think. No. It doesn't work that way. When you are dependent on everybody, you have to care about what other people think. Because it's their thoughts that are going to allow them to treat you a certain way in society. And they know that. The people who are behind RBR, they know that. That's why they pay him to allow this type of shit to go on. RBR doesn't care anything about black people either. He's as bad as the white supremacists, if not worse. Play it.
You see on screen.
This bullshit ain't no fucking self-hate.
Come on,
If you want,
what the fuck you think it is? That's
wow,
love? You think it's love?
Bring your goddamn sources.
Love? Okay, what's
Bring
on
your
the screen?
goddamn sources when you say that pseudo shit. The problem is y'all so busy on pseudo shit.
Okay, we get it.
Okay, stop.
Pseudo shit.
Okay, we
get it.
Black Jerusalem, this isn't entertainment. This is actually something that is hurtful to black people. See, that's our problem. We keep thinking stuff like this is funny and it's entertaining. It's not. This is actually hurting people. It's actually hurting black people. There's nothing entertaining about what you hear that's taking place. This is not funny. This is not a game. That's one of our problems right now. We don't take stuff seriously. Play it.
What are you sharing on
I don't want to
with
kick
us?
you out, man. Please stop, Big J.
You're right to make up shit up.
Okay,
please shut the fuck up, dude.
RBR, check that out, RBR. Let's go to the screen here. Let's see what RBR is showing on the screen.
Y'all do pseudo.
It's all entertaining until somebody falls out on that panel from a stroke because their blood pressure then went through the roof, because they're aggravated and so filled with the demonic energy of this environment that they can't stop themselves or control themselves. See? It's not entertainment. Play it.
Oh shit. The nigga about to present to you that the nigga fuck with Firestone, and you say we doing pseudo shit. See, y'all so stupid that y'all just parrot the same dumbass. No, you're doing pseudo shit. You are doing pseudo. Can we stop about fucking Marcus Garvey? Make that make sense. Shut the fuck up, dude. That's what I'm. Yeah, I thought so. You retard. I thought so. Yeah, I
anyway,
thought so. Yeah, you got them. I'm retarded. I'm retarded talking to you. That's why. I'm retarded talking to your having ass. Come over here with I'm retarded talking to you. Why you right about that one? I'm retarded talking to you.
My God.
The thing is that I'm wasting my time with your monkey ass.
One at a time.
All right. So what in 1924. In 1924, Marcus Garvey negotiated a deal with Firestone Rubber Company and the Liberian Rubber Plantation. So the question that Verbal's asking of whether or not he set foot to the continent or not, which is a lie that the white people started. Why? Because they were mad at this dude, not because he was raping 14-year-old girls and living in mud huts with no clothes on, but because he made billions of dollars fucking with selling that rubber to the Firestone Rubber Company. He got rich. That's why they didn't like him.
Okay, stop.
Put the link to.
That's a whole lie. He did not get rich. Marcus Garvey died broke, and he was actually put in jail for that transaction because he was convicted of mail fraud. He did not step foot in Liberia. Everything was done through the mail. In situations like that, okay? That's one of the reasons why he went to jail. He was not in Liberia. Marcus Garvey never stepped foot in Africa, okay? Even though Brother Jabari said he went to Ethiopia. He never went to Ethiopia. He was very critical of Haile Selassie's war with, I think it was Mussolini, and how Haile Selassie was fighting cowardly, and how Haile Selassie, he talked about how Haile Selassie fled Ethiopia. Okay? Play it.
Can you put the link to
Stop it.
Is that an article?
Yes.
Can you put the link
There
to it
isn't a link, sister.
I can read it for
It's
myself?
mumbo jumbo rhetoric. There is no link.
But you see what they're doing to it? You see what they're doing to it? Now, the point that I was making.
I like to read stuff for myself. I don't listen to people. I just want to read it for myself.
Oh, blog site.
I don't understand why it's wrong for me to want to read it for
No,
myself.
it's true.
Give me
Everybody
the bigger biography.
Give
me the bibliography.
And stop.
Give me
Here's the point.
And another reason why I do this, because we're on the outside looking in, right? And I want you to look at sometimes the type of behavior that we display and how it looks to the rest of the world. How is it looking to you right now? Be honest with yourself. How is this sounding to you right now? Are you condoning any of this? Does this sound right to you? Does this sound like entertainment to you? This is horrific. And you have to understand something. We're not in a position of power. So a lot of things affect us differently than it does other races of people. You have to bear that in mind. So we have to be a little bit more together than everybody else. I'm not saying that we should be cowards and go hide up under the bed and conform to everything. But our behavior and the way we treat each other directly affects how other people see and treat us. Because we have no power and because we're in a position to where we have to rely on everyone else. Understand the position that we're in this country. It's not a favorable one. We're in a really dangerous situation. Play it.
Here's the point. Taz's first section of his argument was all about how messed up
did you put the link in there? I want to see the link of where you got it from so I can just read it.
Yeah, okay, but it's not just
history,
so it's
now
not
stop.
2+2 and World War.
What is the overall reason why they're all going through this right now? Simply because each one has a piece of information that they want to get out so other people can know that they are intelligent. This is a me thing. It's about I'm intelligent, I'm smart. This is what it sounds like. Here's my information. And when they can't get that out, it becomes a situation of disrespect. And then it breaks down into a fight to where they are wishing the worst on each other. And this is being seen by other people. They see how we have become immature and we cannot handle our situations like mature adults. Nothing that you see going on right now is mature. And the men are absolutely terrible. The men on the panel are a disgrace. They're a disgrace. They are some of the worst. They shouldn't be losing their cool this way. They are very weak-minded men. And other races of men see that too. They see how weak-minded you are. They take advantage of that. That's how they create so many Sambos and coons, because a lot of black brothers today have a weak mind. They have a weak constitution, period. There's not one strong man on that panel, with the exception of maybe Conscious Moron, because he's the only one that isn't engaging in this tomfoolery. He's keeping his cool. He's the only strong man on that panel. Play it.
Or three is on one site.
I would just like to read the one that you had from
okay.
That's all, because I couldn't find it. So if somebody else could find it, I looked all over and I couldn't find it.
We want to hear this.
Maybe if somebody else,
you couldn't find it on Fox
found
News.
I couldn't find it anywhere, actually. Yeah. So if you can go ahead and just put that link in the chat, that would be great.
Can I read it real quick, please? Real quick for the slow people on the yellow bus. Marcus Garvey was unimpressed after he fled Ethiopia in 1936 following the invasion of Benito Mussolini.
Okay, stop.
A year earlier, described a highly...
You see, they're reading that wrong. You have to go and read the entire context. When he said Marcus Garvey was unimpressed after he fled Ethiopia, he's not talking about himself. The he is Haile Selassie. You have to read that entire context to see what Marcus Garvey was talking about, because the way they got that excerpt worded is worded wrong. Marcus Garvey never been to any part of Africa. He was talking about the he was talking about was Haile Selassie. Like he was unimpressed. Like, for example, when you say to somebody, I'm unimpressed how you, or I'm unimpressed how she, or I'm not familiar with what he, or I'm not familiar with what she. That's basically what it was. He was unimpressed how he, meaning Haile Selassie, fled Ethiopia because he was getting the foot put in his ass by Mr. Mussolini. Okay, who was running him out of Ethiopia. Play it.
Haile Selassie as a coward, calling him out for the terrors of slavery that was practiced and outlawed in 19.
Marcus Garvey was infiltrated, nigga. So what?
They're gonna only use the white argument.
All y'all are a bunch of fucking disingenuous assholes who come on and try to start trouble and think everybody dumb and don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like it.
I
just like
oh, that ain't
link.
true. Can you show me the thing? Motherfuckers, you researching on your motherfucking own.
Well, I mean, you have it right there. So
if you want to bring it up,
we're stupid and retarded. We're stupid and retarded. So we clearly need your help because we're so dumb and we're dumb and retarded. But we're dumb and retarded, so we clearly can't. So I just would like the link that you just read in the chat so I can look at it. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
All right, well there it is.
Remember, we're dumb as fuck, so we clearly need help.
Super dumb.
But that's not it. I think that, like I told Deacon,
I think
undermining.
Understand, right? The very tough Jabari from the conscious community, the Floyd Mayweather of the conscious community, he's never been beaten. He also made the same mistake when he went up against Taz. I'm not sure if Taz caught that mistake, but he also made the same mistake when he tried to counter Taz's position when Taz said that Marcus Garvey has never stepped foot in Africa. Taz was actually right. Jabari was wrong because Jabari read the same article and misquoted the same article. Okay? So Jabari was wrong on that end too. So even an intellectual tough guy like Jabari can be wrong. Play it.
Calling people who think they're smart because they're getting their arguments from a bunch of Nazis
Go back to your
go back to your point of black
people
they think that's smart.
Super fucking
undermining black people, Big J.
Super fucking dumb.
I'm gonna actually undermine black people, right? Motherfucker, I would afford lead to slice you piece of shit. Shut the fuck up, dude.
I'm not talking, stupid fuck.
No. You are talking dumb. No, you the one who got you are the shut up.
Deacon, don't be out there running red lights.
You think you don't know, you know how Eric got the is.
Brothers who are watching this, look at how these men are losing their cool. Look at how they are blowing their lids. This isn't strength, brothers. This is not the way you are supposed to be. This is the antithesis of what you are supposed to be. Just listen to how they have no self-control. Listen to how they have no understanding on how to be calm in a situation, how to maintain their faculties as men. I mean, they can't hold water. These are some of the worst. This is bad. If you're watching and you're a young black man, this is not the way you are supposed to be. See, I don't want y'all to look at this just sitting up here to be entertained and like, wow, they're going back and forth real good. He got one in and she got. I want you to learn from what you're seeing because the world is learning from what they see and hear about us when they see and hear this kind of crap. They're learning from us. They're not looking at this as entertainment. They're learning about us. They're learning about our culture. They're learning how to deal with us. They're learning how to make stereotypes up about us in their minds. They're not taking this as a joke. To them, this is dead serious, and it needs to be dead serious to you too. This is not a joke. This is an entertainment. The men on this panel are absolutely awful. And this is not the way a man is supposed to behave. Play it.
Something about the damn author, you full of shit. You think, man, you know every goddamn thing, nigga. That's your goddamn problem.
Don't be mad because I know a lot of shit. Don't be mad because I'm informed. You're informed too, though, Big J. You're informed. Listen, I give you credit all day long when it comes to political, historical facts.
I know,
and stop.
So angry.
And I'm gonna tell you, brother, something. The women, you can forget about them because nobody's going to say anything about the women. You know why? Because they are in their proper state of mind. They are naturally emotional. Now, they don't always get emotional, but they are naturally emotional. They are women. They are nurturers. Nobody is going to say anything when they get emotional, but they're going to say something when you get emotional. Because emotional is not supposed to be your natural state. Your natural state is strength. So when you are out here just as bad as the women, yes, you are the one that's going to be pointed out. We are going to talk about you. It's kind of like if you go into a women's apparel store, right? For all women. It's one thing if you're a husband in there trying to buy your woman an outfit. But it's another if you're in there just hanging out for the sake of hanging out. What are you doing in there? You're not a woman. And so when people pass by, they see you in there just traipsing around and hanging out. They're like, okay, what are you doing in there? It's like going into a beauty parlor that's for women only. And you in there with them. What are you doing in there? You're not a woman. Stay out of women's places. Stay out of their business. Stop trying to be like them. You're not a woman. Start acting like what you are. Start acting like men. Stop all of this unnecessary emotion. Stand back on your square and be strong. You are supposed to be the pillar of strength that women come to and can lean on. Right now, if they come to try to lean on you, both of you will fall over because you are not strong enough to even hold yourself up, let alone her. Play it.
Got that shit.
You know that I was gonna be threatened to be murdered for asking a question.
I've never taken that away from you. I've always given you that.
That shit's crazy as fuck.
When it comes to certain particular historical moments with politicians,
stop. It doesn't matter if the women are calm. This ain't about the women. The women can get emotional. That's fine. That's fine. So it don't matter if they're calm or not. They're not at fault here for being their natural selves. It's the men who are the problem. You aren't supposed to be like that too. You are supposed to be different. But this is what happens when you have men who believe that there is no difference between a man and a woman. And that they would treat a man the same way that they would treat a woman. No, they would treat a woman the same way that they would treat a man. Understanding that there are clear differences that they are ignoring, including the behavior that they are displaying. Like, dude, do you know that you are a man? No, I'm going to be a woman today. I'm going to shout as loud as her. I'm going to be as emotional as she is. Well, then that doesn't mean, okay, well, then that doesn't make you a man. That makes you a woman. And if that makes you a woman, then you are exhibiting the attributes of feminine behavior. It's going to attract other women. And that's how they end up in your business. Play it.
Fucking life.
I've always said that about you. So don't get upset.
I just feel sad. I can't even be mad.
You know you can't say
No. He legitimately, he was a human being. And human beings oftentimes move. Like I moved. I didn't even think I was moving to Los Angeles. And I moved to Los Angeles. I got out here. I saw the chocolate slibbies and shit. And I decided to stay.
Ain't shit legit about
he really legitimately was going to move back to Africa. But when he realized he could make millions and billions of dollars, 100 years.
He decided never to step foot there.
Yes. After
exactly.
That's not true. That's not true.
That nigga ain't never been to no goddamn Africa.
It's right. I just read it to
you.
you.
Now stop. Now, Verbal is actually right. Okay, she's right, and RBR still is wrong with that Liberia crap. Marcus Garvey went to jail behind that for mail fraud. He did not make millions of dollars off of this deal. This guy just don't want to face the fact that he's wrong. Play it.
Where you don't know how to read, and you won't give me your source. Give me your source. Give me your source.
The source is right here.
Source
BBC.
up,
The BBC. Right
Source
here. The BBC.
up or
The
shut
I don't have a
the
rent, so I
fuck
can't put it in the link, and RBR can't show it. Look
Let's
it up.
see if
The
y'all.
BBC.
Let's see if y'all have reading comprehension. Yes. Let's see if y'all have reading comprehension. Let me
don't have reading comprehension.
Let me go ahead and read it up. Now
Let me
I'm
ask
going
you
to
a
read it
question,
up,
Verbal.
and if it says
No,
what you
hold on.
were,
Let me ask you a question, Verbal.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is the significant point the lie that he never set foot on Africa? Or is the significant point my argument that because he became a multimillionaire by doing a deal with the Libyan rubber plantation?
Okay, well, his argument is wrong too. Garvey didn't make any money off of that deal. He didn't become a multi-millionaire. They threw him in jail. You can look that up. He got thrown in jail for fraud. Now, the contract between Firestone and Liberia does exist, but the part with Marcus Garvey, that was all negated. He didn't make any money off of that. He got thrown in jail for fraud. Play it, man.
And the Firestone Rubber Company in the United States, that's why they trashed him and called him a swindler and a scam artist.
Maybe they were really believing in him and thought they were all gonna, get on these ships and go on back, and it never happened. But he took all their money, and they were like, "Well, goddamn, you're a scam artist." Maybe that's what happened.
That's possible.
Marcus Garvey.
But can you give him credit? No, that's possible.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
No, come on, Arthur.
Go ahead, RBR.
Fucking say, come
Go
on,
ahead,
nigga. He
RBR.
died broken, penniless,
Okay,
and fucking
but
England. What the fuck are you talking about?
My
He
issue
didn't have no fucking money.
Did he
The
know?
federal government undermined him and fucking got him for tax evasion and mail fraud. That's why he went to penitentiary in Atlanta. Read the fucking history.
Bingo. Exactly.
You're saying he didn't.
Arthur, so then he was deported, right?
Money.
And then
Stop.
He didn't collect people.
Bingo. Exactly. They hit it right on the head. Tax evasion and mail fraud. He didn't have any money. He was broke when he died. All this multi-millionaire stuff is nonsense. And this is RBR who claims that he stands for the truth. And he's just telling lies right here. Marcus Garvey never made no multi-million dollars from the Liberia Firestone deal. He didn't. He was in prison for fraud and tax evasion. And the fraud came off of that very deal. It was called mail fraud. And they added the tax evasion. They didn't have no millions of dollars. The guy died broke. Talking about he made billions of dollars. If that's the case, he would never die broke. How do you die broke if you got billions of dollars? Ridiculous. Play it, Dan.
People's money to go back to Liberia.
The money that he got to fucking start the Black Star fucking fleet of ships, he got from donations, and he fucking bought the ships.
And they were worn out, right? They weren't no good.
The government undermined them, though.
The government was undermining, saying he didn't pay this tax, or he didn't do this, or he had mail fraud from this. And every time he got going, they would lock him the fuck up. Read the story.
Yeah.
And then he was.
If he had all this money, then how come all those ships he bought was in disrepair?
Disrepair, fucked up, broke. Marcus Garvey was broke.
He couldn't. He bought 3 ships. Those were how many ships he bought, Arthur?
He bought like 4 or 5.
Exactly, Joe. He was wrong big time, and he's still going. I don't understand. Like, dude, you're wrong as 2 left shoes, and you still fighting the fact that you want that you're wrong. Marcus Garvey didn't make no millions of dollars off of anything. He couldn't even stay out of jail at one point. And the Firestone deal, yes, that still exists, right? But he didn't make any money off that deal, and he wasn't the reason why that was going on. He didn't even initiate the contact between Liberia and Firestone. He stumbled on that situation and tried to get his way in there via mail fraud. That's how he got caught. And again, RBR talking about tires from Libya. Libya don't make tires. I'm sorry, Liberia didn't make tires. They sold the rubber. The rubber was made in the Firestone plants over here in America, which they still do today. Ain't anybody ship no damn tires from Liberia to America? Play it.
It was 7 in total, but he bought like 4 or 5.
Okay. Hey, guess what? Let's talk about economics, right? If you got 4 broken down ships, right? 4 or 5 broken down ships.
Well,
why
he didn't
couldn't
know
you
they
take,
were broken down.
Why
Don't
couldn't you
say
sell
that.
to half
They were
of them?
broken down.
Hold on.
At some point, you had to know they were broken down, RBR.
Yeah, you have to know
Like-
they broken
He
down.
already bought
Like, this is silly.
This
is silly.
Probably had to
Big
have
J,
it
what,
By
Big J,
that logic,
Big J and Verbal, what's you guys' point? What do you guys' point, Big J and
By
Verbal?
that logic, hold on.
They think he
No,
was
no,
Dr.
fuck all that.
Umar.
What's your point? What's your
They're
point?
saying he
Come
was
over here
Dr.
to knock
Umar.
pro-black
The
historian.
point is this.
Come over here
The
to knock Marcus Garvey,
point
who's
is this.
pro-black. What's your point?
The
So
point is this.
who's your white synonymous person to Marcus Garvey? Who's your white hero that you're going to praise in spite of Marcus Garvey? Because you're anti-pro-black, and Marcus Garvey was pro-black. So what's your point? See,
Well, Chaz is against Marcus Garvey,
I don't play
too.
checkers.
No, here is
What's your
the point.
You're
Here is-
anti-pro-black, so you're gonna find some
hey,
dumbass argument to undermine Marcus Garvey, so you can point out some right shit. So what's your
But
point?
didn't your boy
question?
Chaz undermine him too, Arthur?
What's your point? And Queen,
The
the
point
fucked up
is-
part about it is, in the chat last night, you agreed with all this.
The point is
Every last
the point
part.
is this. The point is this.
Every
You know,
last
here
part. I
is-
wish I could take a
here is-
screenshot of the shit you were saying.
I was talking about Taz.
Stop.
You were talking about Jabari. You said
See, this is why I don't debate, and I'm not really a big debater because these debates are about bullshit. People don't really want to talk about the truth. You know, Marcus Garvey was basically a charlatan. The whole Pan-African movement was a scam. You know, you still got people going on today with some Pan-African movement who pretty much following Garvey's footsteps, who ain't doing shit with the Pan-African movement because the Pan-African movement is a fucking scam. And Dr. Umar Johnson, even though he has the right, I think he has the right concept, but that whole shit out there is a scam too. So you go to Africa, you'd be hard pressed to find any African that even know anything about Pan-Africanism. So what is that telling you? You can go to Africa right now and ask an African about Pan-Africanism. They don't know shit about no damn Pan-Africanism. We have 2 authentic Africans down with the E Nation. Both are from Ghana. They don't know shit about no Pan-African. We even got a brother, Shaka Bulin from Nigeria. Very, very heady brother. Don't know shit about Pan-Africanism. You can go on WhatsApp and ask the Africans over there about Pan-Africanism. They'll be like, what the fuck is that? They don't know shit about Pan-Africanism. Okay? And so they don't want to see the fact. And again, these debates with Brother Jabari, who claims to be an African historian, it's not really an African historian. You know, if all you're talking about is Kemet. So you don't really want to go on about what's really going down in Africa and these other countries, especially in Nigeria. I guarantee you, they scared to talk about Nigeria right now. There's all hell breaking loose in Nigeria. Okay? They don't want to talk about Nigeria and Somalia too. And then there's other places around Africa that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to tell you about the shit that's going on in Liberia, but they want to sit up here and talk about Kemet. Why? Because they can wear all of the fucking attire, wear unks and shit, and fake like they're Kemetic priests. Even though Kemetic priests haven't been around for thousands of years. And I'm gonna tell you something else. The lie they keep telling you about Egypt, you can't trace your bloodline back to any of those Egyptians. You can't. You don't have any ties to them. That's just a scam that the conscious community is running. And now they got a trip going down there to Kemet, which they're going to scam black people out of more money. Okay? If you really want to get down with it, ask these people, okay, trace my lineage back to Egypt. Trace my lineage, my family bloodline back to Kemet. I guarantee you'll get all kinds of crazy answers like, well, they didn't have DNA back then. People weren't alive back then. Casper the Friendly Ghost came down and took the bloodline and all that. You can't. We are not connected to the people that came out of Kemet. That's all a lie. It's a feel-good story. It's something to pull the wool over your eyes. That's why they always calling you, beating you over the head with the term brother all the time. Brother, listen to this. Brother, listen to this. Brother, my brother, my brother, my brother. And so you know what that does psychologically? It makes you think that they have your best interest at heart, right? When they don't, they're just scamming you. They're feeding you a bunch of bullshit. You're not connected to anybody in Kemet. They don't even know where your bloodline comes from in Africa. Nobody in the conscious community can pinpoint where any of our bloodlines came from in Africa. But they're not going to have that kind of debate. This is why I don't debate, because they're debating bullshit. They're debating things that will allow them to get cash apps and donations. They're not going to debate the truth because they don't want to be exposed. Let's get with them bloodlines. Where are them bloodlines at in Africa? They don't know where they at. They don't even know where you come from in Africa. Everything is a speculation and a guess. But yet they tell you, well, we did this, we built it, but we didn't do shit. See, when you say this to people, everybody is shocked, right? But what do you mean? We're African. No, we're not. Our ancestors were African. We are not African. Our blood may still be of African descent, but we are far and away a different people. We are not the same. We're not culturally the same. We're not the same. We are too many generations removed from our ancestors to be connected to Africans. We are so many generations away from our ancestors that we have developed into a completely different people. They don't want to have these kinds of conversations though, because they want to keep, beating you in the head with BS so they can make money. Play it.
Said Jabari made a great point on Marcus Garvey. I'm not.
No, I did. What?
RBR, I would like to.
Defending Marcus Garvey.
I would like to thank
he
you,
was
RBR.
defending Garvey. That's right. Hello.
Hold on. Here is the thing, though. Here is the thing, though. Here is the point I'm trying to make. Let me explain what I'm gonna interrupt.
Waiting for you to say it. We're gonna fucking grow great.
Yo. Okay. Now, no. Well then, you need to start doing your AARP. Start collecting your AARP money. All right.
Well,
so let me finish what I got to say. The point is this. If you're gonna buy 5 ships, right? 5, 6, 7 ships, and most of those ships are in disrepair. Would it make sense to sell half of those ships and take the money and repair
Big J?
At least one or two of those ships?
Who were gonna buy the ships, Big J?
Well, he did. He bought them in disrepair. I don't know why he did that.
Listen.
But he couldn't get the support of the government undermined it.
Let me answer. He brought the ships because that's the only thing that people would sell to him. They would not sell.
Stop. Now, if someone is buying ships, trying to sell a movement on you, and they bought ships that are in disrepair, what is that telling you? That the person is a hustler. The person is running a con game. Who the fuck buys ships in disrepair and don't repair the ships? Play it, Dan.
Selling a top flight ship. He only wanted one good ship.
Well, he should have had a better business plan.
Not selling anything.
He should have had a better
You
business
only
plan.
want one good ship, right?
They wouldn't let him buy the good ships, Verbal.
Wait, hold on.
They wouldn't let him buy them.
He shouldn't have bought them, though.
Y'all. He said one good ship.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
Why did he
No, they said the FBI
Somebody
did
explain to
that.
me why he shouldn't have bought the ships if he was trying to start.
Couldn't,
If they can't move
break
nowhere,
down.
would you
No,
do
no,
it?
Can I ask a question to the
FBI did
Explain
that.
that.
The FBI infiltrated
You're whacking ass
and
question
bought
to
the
the brother
shit.
that's-
That's what Zadugo's saying now. You know he's a cool too. But he's saying
Can
the
I ask a question to the
FBI
brother that's anti-Marcus Garvey?
infiltrated the books. I mean, infiltrated the Marcus Garvey organization, and he bought those.
Yeah, can I ask a question to the brother that's anti-Marcus Garvey real quick?
Yes.
Is that okay?
What?
Okay. What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Harris. I'm a debater. How y'all doing? I'm a debater over there.
I heard you
Hello,
up there.
Chris.
I heard you called
I
in,
heard you
right?
too. You gave him that
thank you.
smoke, Christopher. I love it. I like it.
Thanks.
I only caught the last part of it when the Marcus Garvey
Yeah,
situation, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I would like to know, why is it that every time I hear people that have the anti-African speech, the first two people they bring up is Marcus Garvey.
Okay,
now,
Dan, you can
understanding
stop
the
it.
political philosophy.
You can take it off the screen. Drop the link. All right, that's the end of it because it pretty much, Chris Harris came up and it was just a boring situation at that point. But, like I said, but this is the behavior that we have to learn from and that we have to grow from, And the problem I have with all of these debates among black people is that these debates, they lead to nowhere. And pretty much it's just arguments amongst black people. That's all it is. Black people are fighting amongst each other and never gaining anything and never producing anything and never actually really proving anything to each other. It's just a constant, carousel of useless information. That's why I don't get involved in these debates, because they're about nothing. They're self-proclaimed accolades. There are people who are failed academics in life, and they come on YouTube and they try to resuscitate their academic career on YouTube through debates. And they think it's okay to sit up there and debate day after day and hour after hour about nothing. Now, I'll admit, sometimes the Sinetta camp, they do have some interesting stuff going on over there. But basically, it's brothers who sit up there and they regurgitate information that they research and study. For some reason, they can't seem to take that same intellect and do anything to help the black community. Like, no one's going up into the school systems and debating them about shit. No one is going into these households in the communities and debating these parents about shit when their kids are out here killing other kids. It's funny how in this so-called conscious community, it's about the information. When is it going to be about black people moving forward? When is it going to be about black people changing things? It's all about the information. That's what they push in the conscious community. Because Sinetta's a scam artist. He already made $1 million or so off of black people with that fake ass debate event called Kim on Trial. And black people haven't learned their lesson then. And they keep talking about the big leagues. The big leagues of what? Of a bunch of brothers who study history that really has nothing to do with us anymore, that doesn't have any connection to us. What the fuck does what went on in Kemet 1 billion years ago have to do with us now? And you got some fool, Sanchez, running around here talking about the earth is flat. Who gives a fuck? You know, you got people talking about the metaneta. What? Hieroglyphics. Oh man, I used to be in the college community. I used to hear this shit all the time. Oh man, we invented hieroglyphics. We invented language. Dude, all this shit you keep talking about, we invented and we got all kinds of civilization. What about the situation that we're in right now? You would think that if somebody was highly intelligent as we are, we wouldn't be in this situation. But you see, when you get caught up in this nonsense, it deadens your senses and it turns off your common sense button, right? You got some fool who thinks he's a Kemetic priest in Brother Jabari, even though Kemetic priests were extinct multiple thousands of years ago. There hasn't been a Kemetic priest in a billion years. I'm not even sure how he became a Kemetic priest. How the fuck you become a Kemetic priest and there's no goddamn resemblance of that system anywhere to be found? It was been lost thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, that practice has been lost. There was no Kemetic priest alive that can teach him and ordain him as a Kemetic priest. You got these charlatans over there making unks, and these guys are wearing these unks because they want to be hoteps. They want to be like Emotep. They want to be. It's illusions of grandeur. It's grandioso and over the top. And if you really want to debate about some real shit, they won't let you. They won't let you because they got a scam going. So you have to debate something that they've already been debating about or something in their warehouse. You can't really, hey man, let's debate about Carthage in Eastern Africa and what happened to the Polynesians when they met the Africans and the Queen Dido, who created the greatest general in the whole world with Hannibal Barca. Let's debate about Liberia and the slaves that they got going on over there and the murder and the torture that African people are doing to African people over there, the slaving other African people. Let's talk about that. Now, they don't want to hear that shit. No, brother, let's debate about Kemet. You don't want to hear that shit? Exactly. The conscious community is like the WWE. They don't want to have no real, debates. Jabari he ain't no real African historian, but the problem is he's very good on that Kemet shit. If you keep them, you see, the way to beat those guys in the conscious community, you have to get them out of their comfort zone. And then you can easily knock them down like bowling pits. Okay? You take them outside of that comfort zone, and then they're done. You take fucking Jabari out of that fucking Kemet shit, and put him somewhere else in Africa, and he's fucked up. Like I said, throw his ass over there in fucking Liberia with all that shit going on, and make him explain that. Throw his ass in Nigeria. There's hell going on in Nigeria right now. Throw his ass over there in Eastern Africa. And we'll see how much of a historian he really is. See, they don't want to talk about the real shit. They don't want to talk about how they got militias and armies that are condoned by the government, right, in those countries that go around and murder whole families who oppose the government, who have a different ideology from the government. And how the government is bullying the people and oppressing the people. Do you know how much money a lot of them make over there? They don't hardly make no money at all. In Ghana, the average job is like what, 300 pesos. 300 cedis a month, I think. It's something like $50 a month or some shit. And then sometimes they don't even get paid at the end of every month. They got to work a whole extra other month to get paid for the first month. So imagine, right, over here when you start a new job, they do a week in a hole. So imagine a month in a hole. So you got to work 60 days before you get paid $50. Where they do that at? You don't hear your brother. You don't hear your boy brother Jabari talking about that now, do you? See, they're not going to talk about the real shit that's going on in Africa. They're going to keep you entertained with that chemist shit. Talk about the Rosetta Stone, the fucking hieroglyphics. Like one motherfucker over there in the Armored Raw squad called themselves trying to read the goddamn hieroglyphics on the wall. Talking about some, well, here it is. This is a chair. This is a man standing next to the chair. This is a wall. This is a man standing next to the chair next to a wall. And this is a door. This is a man standing next to the chair, next to the wall, next to a door. I mean, the Armored Raw Squad is an absolute joke. They're all jokes, man. It's a scam over there. But it's lucrative. If you want to play their game, you'll make some money over there. If you want to get into all of that religion shit, these fake ass fucking debates about Kemet and Egypt and what, even though Jabari's from fucking Brooklyn, I think he's from. Motherfucker's not from Egypt. It's not from Kemet. I think he has some ties to Ghana. Okay, but these guys are phony. Like Captain said, these guys have a gimmick, right? They stand on one thing. They pick something they stand on. Either they are Hebrew Israelites, they are Kemetic, they're this, they're that, right? And they stay on that shit, and that's what they study all day long. Them Hebrews, Tazariak, they can tell you about that Bible, but can't tell you shit about black people. Can't tell you nothing about what we're going to do to fix the situation that we're in right now. They ain't going to tell you no shit about that. But they'll tell you about everything that's going on in that damn Bible. And they can equate that Bible to damn near everything that's going on in the country today, but won't tell you shit about how we fix nothing. And then they'll stand on the goddamn corners and shout at black women too, call the black women devils and all kinds of shit like that. I heard one of the motherfuckers, General Yahanaha, whatever the hell his name is, the leader of Dr. Tazariak's group, stand out there one day talking about, told the white man that he gonna be licking his boots in the afterlife. Boots in the afterlife. I mean, this is the type of shit that they're saying over there. They're getting away. Boots in the, where you get boots at in the afterlife? Are you even going to have any feet in the afterlife? And where you getting the boots from? Do they have a Payless store, a Foot Locker store, or something in the fucking hour? Where do you get these boots from? And what makes you think it's going to go down exactly the way you say it is? Oh, you're going to be licking my boots in the afterlife. And so they sell you on shit like that. You stand up there listening, man, he telling the white man he going to lick his boots in the afterlife. Let me get down with them. I'm going to be a Hebrew Israelite. But why you want to be a Hebrew Israelite? Because he told the white man he going to be licking his boots. And you believe that, huh? Telling you, man, we got to watch it, y'all. We got to be careful on what's going on out here. And with that being said, let me bring in my co-host, because I'm at the end of the show. Not going to be on all night. We get ready to wrap it up. Nobody want to come up. Dane.
Yes?
Come on in here. Tell me what you thought about everything. Let's chat up a little bit before we get out of here.
It seems to me that not only was it chaotic, out of control, that it was becoming demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demonic energy.
And for somebody that likes to mute people and knock them backstage, he could have put everybody backstage and told them, hey, y'all need to cool it with the argument, and this is what we're going to do. He could have done that. Oh, I couldn't do anything. They wouldn't listen to me.
Which is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they was all up there arguing with him, he would have cleared the whole panel out. I've seen him do it before. He don't give a fuck. He just don't give a shit about black people. And shout out to everybody. If y'all want to watch that debate between Jabari and Taz, it's a good debate. Okay, if you want to say that Jabari edged Taz out, you can probably say that. I wouldn't say he blew Taz out. Okay, I thought Taz represented himself well. I would say if Jabari did win, he edged Taz out. Taz wasn't as slack as everybody thought he was. If you go back and you really look at that debate and put it together yourself, there were several points that Jabari was wrong on. And one big point that he was wrong on, with Taz hit him with, was Marcus Garvey being in Africa. Jabari was straight up wrong about that. And he misquoted. Now Jabari is supposed to be this super intellectual hysterian, and he still misquoted that article. So Taz didn't do as bad as everybody thought he did. Okay, so go watch the debate for yourself. It really wasn't no blowout like people keep saying it was. If you want to say Jabari edged him out, you could probably say that. But it wasn't this mega blowout like people. I don't even know where they're getting that from. I thought Taz represented himself well. Jabari's a tough customer. He's also a slick one, too. All right? And you also got to understand that there's some bias, too, in the conscious community. That's another thing that you're not aware of. They're very biased over there. All right? So he pretty much walked into a hornet's nest. All right, so let's not sit up here, judge for yourself. Go watch the debate. It's still up over at Side of the TV, Black News 101, and listen to it. It was a good debate, but there were some things Brother Jabari was wrong on, and there were some things that Taz slipped up on, too. But like I said, I don't think it was this blowout like everybody said it was. Go watch it and determine it yourself. All right. All right. With that being said, a shout out to everybody in the chat came in. Miss FedEx, we're hoping that you're getting better. Miss FedEx, we're hoping that you're getting better. We're praying for you over here. And we want you to, get you a speedy recovery. Me and Dan getting ready to dip on out because we got some sleeping to do. And I might even play Dame in a game of Crazy Eights before I go to sleep. Dan, you got the music queued up?
Just 1 second. All right. I'm ready.
All right, y'all. Peace, power, and unity. We'll holler at y'all sometime this week. Got Ladies Night coming up this week, y'all. All right? See y'all then. Peace, power, and unity. All right, Dan. Let's go.
Yeah, son. There's mad kids out there getting cream for the 9-5, bro. Yeah, and I've been doing this for a long time. Shoot the game going for mine.
All right.
And this is the year when mad caps get peeled. So I'ma spark this line, kick the rear.
Bang them out.
With all this chaos in the realms of the street, your local street dog got to make ends meet. The average Joe's far too slow for the ghetto pro. You better know, when I hit the streets, I like to glow, I like to glisten. And at the same time, stay low, listen, motherfuck the fame. I'm pursuing the dope. My stilo is symbolic to a kilo. Cash is popping, coke is cooking, beans is copping. Ain't that some shit? A player that's used to living rich is now a sticky kid, caught up in a ditch. In 94, Giuliani kicked down the door. In 95, niggas flipped to stay alive, peeling caps while I laugh. In the stats, with 4.5, Remy in the glass, spark the boom, then I blast. They wanna confine me, sneak up from behind me, bust a cap in my back and put me where they can't find me. They hate to see a young player pay. I don't wanna see that, son. They rather see him spray. But I'm like Diddy, a Terminator, squeeze the lead off, using verbs and nouns like rounds to blow your head off, hitting up spots, heating up blocks, investing in stocks like Colombian blow crops. I'm out to get cream and ain't no doubt in my mind. Fuck this broke shit, I'm hit, I get down for mine. I get down for mine, I get down for this, I get down for this, on the regular, shit, no pain. I get down for mine, I get down for this, I get down for I hear you wanna be a player. I ain't someplace you bet. Let's play a game of real nigga roulette. Witness a DOA as I spray the melee. Contact and punctuation is compared to AKs. You in a daze, overdose for pure funk. I'm fucking off like Tommy Gibb. Bahamas a booty smoke. Decapitated rappers in my trunk. I'm sick, pumping skunk, bouncing with my click, popping mega jump. I'm getting back while these clowns be zigzagging. What's this talk about flipping keys? Come on, you nickel bagging. I'm blasting off wings and making doubters believe it. You see, I was packing heaters when jokers was banging cheerleaders. Ain't nothing changed, it's still the same in the rap game. I'm known for banging rookies out the frame. Y'all done forgot who was the pimp from the start. Sipping vintage wine, eating a la carte. I'm phenomenal from the abdominal. Far from comical lyrics and stick in the brains like barnacles. Never sleep. I'm bringing the drama to the streets with techniques and rolling in fleets. Ain't nothing sweet about the streets, so I'm poetically ill. I'm pure like cook up and lyrics shine like fish scale. I got the banger at your throat and you ain't showing no signs. K-Dep, let them know I get down for mine. I get down for mine.